going to start recording. Gonna leave all that running. Just think we're good. I have no issues with anything. Hey guys, welcome to the Bag and Boardcast. It's episode number 612. I'm Chris.
I'm John.
And I'm Paul.
And we're a weekly podcast that comes to you in three ways.
The first being the Week in Geek, bringing you the top geek stories of the past week.
Next is the list, the comic books that we are looking forward to coming out June 25th, 2025.
Then we follow that up with our weekly rotating main topic, and this week it's time for pub trivia. And this is John, baby. John, what are we talking about today?
We're doing horror movie pub trivia.
There you go. And you can't have pub trivia without pub offering, so of course we're going to be drinking.
Nice.
Yeah. And Chris, I'm interested in hearing what barrel-aged stout you were drinking.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot, I decided to start off with an 8.2% beer from Boulevard Brewing Company in delicious collaboration with Whitman's Chocolates. This is their More S'mores, and this is a barrel-aged stout. Like I said, 8.2% ABV, and this is really light. I'm surprised this is 8% because you don't get any of that dragon breath that you normally get off of a barrel-aged stout. Big chocolate flavor. A little bit of marshmallow sweet on it. I would like a little bit more of like a graham cracker to it. I mean, that's a s'more. Like, that's definitely something I should be looking for. Like a rich, like a biscuitiness. Maybe that's just what they're trying to get, like, from the malts with it. But this is really good. I don't mind this at all. I think it was $5.99 for the single can. Boulevard usually does their big beers really well. And I think this stands maybe not alongside those ones, but, you know, it'd be in the background of the picture, like peering over someone's shoulders. John,
Yeah.
you were drinking something much lighter than me.
I am. I'm drinking from Brickyard Brewing Company, 4.9% unfiltered Pilsner called Scuttlebutt.
But
And this is...
oh, wait, hold on. Scuttle. That would have been funnier.
This is a nice drinking beer. It's crisp. It's bready. It's a nice Pilsner.
Nice.
Paul?
I'm drinking a
are you
nice
drinking, bud?
a nice amber lager, and this is from Great Lakes. I picked up their variety pack, and this is their Elliot Ness amber lager, and it's 6.1% alcohol by volumes, and yeah, it's one of those nicer, like, it's not quite metallic on the back end, but has a, I don't know, like almost breadiness, toastedness to it. It's pretty easy drinking. I wouldn't call it refreshing or anything like that. But yeah, it's giving me more fall vibes than summer vibes, and I think I'm hoping this was a summer variety pack that I picked up, but who knows? Who knows when I buy a beer?
Elliot Ness is it's in their variety can pack, so that should be.
I don't know. It just
Refresh.
associates ambers with more of a fall season anyways. It's like, it's not super roasty toasty, but it's a nice amount of that toastedness to it that it whispers fall through the leaves. So I get that.
Yeah, it's good for a crisp fall day. Or maybe an early morning disc golf round. This would be good on. So that
Yeah,
works out.
it's bolder than a lager or a Pilsner, but lighter than a brown ale or a stout or something.
Try to meet you guys in the middle. Fell short. That brings us to the Weekend Geek, right, guys?
Yeah, why not? I
Do
don't
you want to say
know.
anything? I don't know.
Kicking off Week in Geek, we do have a summer movie blockbuster Bracco Buster update. Hot off my notepad. We did have two movies come out this past weekend. We had Elio, the newest Disney Pixar release, and 28 Years Later. There's a loud car going by. Elio actually has Pixar's lowest opening to date with 21 million, and 28 years later, not a lot better, opening with 30 million. So a little bit of a lackluster week for the bracket updates, but I don't think any of us had any of these movies going further past the opening rounds just based on what they were up against. So I did some quick checks for points so far. John and I are both tied at 5, and Paul, you are at 4. So it's still anybody's game. We're getting to the point now where we do have more movies coming out, and we'll have more movies that are in their first and subsequent second weeks to keep racking up those points. So here we go.
Megan 2.0 comes out this week?
Yes, Megan 2.0 and F1 both come out this weekend.
Ah. Okay. So I'm going to have to hope that Megan 2.0 makes less than 30 million, huh?
Which, super excited to see 28 years later. And I did. I saw it on Sunday. But I thought it was coming out later.
28 years later, but dumb.
And it was one of those things that, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I thought they came out in July. And it was this weekend, and I made plans with some friends to go see it. And I loved it. I thought it was great. I think it's the best out of the 3. And I'm really excited for the sequel that comes out in January.
Well, the director and writer team, they say this is their second movie. Because they say that that 28 weeks later isn't part of this franchise at all.
Really?
But they make reference to it.
But they also then say that the zombie apocalypse never made it to the mainland, and that happens in 28 weeks later as well.
They make it to France, and they nuke France. And that's how they eradicate the zombie outbreak in France.
I was listening to NPR, and it seemed like they kind of
because they reference a show and they reference France getting blown up.
I must be mistaken, but I was listening to the guy
I don't know.
made it sound like the writer or either the writer was on it or the director, and they were like, "Yeah, this is our second movie." So maybe that's what he meant, because the writer and director from the first movie didn't come back to do the second movie. So this is their second movie, and we're hoping to do a trilogy.
But the director produced the second one and worked on it as a producer, and he brought it to the screen. So he did work on it. It's their second movie together, I think, because they had a huge falling out on the movie Sunshine. But they did that movie together. They had a huge falling out. So this is maybe that's what it meant, their second movie together.
Okay. Maybe.
I don't know.
When I'm driving, I'm kind of trying to pay attention. I'm more paying attention to driving than I am listening. But
Good,
I was like, this will be interesting because you're welcome. But I was trying to pay attention to this interview because it's a movie that I probably won't watch. But I knew you guys would want to talk about, so I wanted something to bring to the table.
I'll get to it at some point. I love the original 28 Days Later. I think I only saw 28 Weeks Later once. That's when you and I went to see it, John.
Yep. I've seen them all. I saw them all in theater too. Chris, you and I definitely saw the first one together.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was in prime zombie movie time.
Yeah. Early 2000s. But no, I thought it was really great. I understand it's really well critically reviewed, and then the fans are split on it. And I think some people wanted more zombie stuff out of it, where this is more of people coping in a zombie world, and it's all about the son. Because the previews make it look like it's a father and son who are going out from their sheltered island that they live on, and the whole movie is them like trying to get back. But that's actually just the first part of the movie, and they get back, and then the son goes on this kind of hero's journey to save his mom. That's kind of the rest of the movie, and then the last 5 minutes it turns into a Power Rangers movie when these English thugs show up and do a bunch of backflips and behead a zombie with nunchucks.
Pretty cool.
Like, it's really
You're
it's
winning
really
me
cool.
over. I think.
I don't know if you're lying or not. It seems like you were like, oh, Paul's eyes glazed over. I'm just going to say some shit to see if he pays attention.
And what's even better
That's what it's.
is Paul will never watch this movie to check to see if you're lying or not. So
He'll read the wiki.
Yep.
it turns
Or at
out
least,
turns out the writer and the director were big fans of Power Rangers. That makes sense. Meanwhile, John's just editing the wiki like the day before.
Oh, there. So yeah, in January they have the sequel coming out. What is it? Bone Tower, or Bone Chapel, or something like that.
Bone Chapel, Bone Temple, something like that.
I was going to try to make a joke. I got nothing because I'm too excited for. We got official confirmation. Jake Schreier, director of Marvel's Thunderbolts, will be helming the MCU debut of the X-Men. This was rumored for a little bit. Other directors were confirming it in interviews. Ryan Coogler said, like, yeah, Jake Schreier is doing it. And then he was asked about it, and he came right out and was like, oh, yeah, with my X-Men, I want to do this. So it might not have performed very well, and I look forward to when we finally get to this movie for Great Marvel Movie Retrospective, because I really enjoyed Thunderbolts, and I'm sad that it didn't do better, because I think of all of the recent MCU stuff, Thunderbolts is probably the one that everybody should have gone to see. If you are a lapsed fan or someone that's kind of lost faith in the MCU, I think you would be pleasantly surprised by what Thunderbolts has.
It was one that I wanted to see. It came out, and everything that was going on, we couldn't make it work. Get there to see it. But everyone who I've talked to have all liked it and thought it, like what you just said, the best of what's come out.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
So I'm glad that
team.
even though it didn't perform well, they know that this is the right guy to put in charge of this.
And I mean, this is stuff for Great Marvel Movie Retrospective, but I think this harkens back to early MCU stuff, because yes, it is a superhero team, but also it's all characters that had been established in their own movies before. So bringing them together in Thunderbolts makes sense, and you don't have to just like throw people in there, because like you already know these characters. You've seen some of them, maybe a little bit more than others, but everything had already been earned and proven for those characters in their respective solo properties before. So you can just hit the ground and have a great story. Like, you're not trying to cover too many bases.
Hey, over on Twitch, we got a listener feedback.
Twitch, you mean twitch.tv/BagNBoard, where you can watch us record this episode and future episodes live, Paul?
Yeah,
Plug,
and join the
plug,
discussion,
plug,
just like
plug.
just like Guzya. I don't know how to pronounce that.
I would say Guzay.
Guzay says that Thunderbolts is everything Marvel needs to be right now. Funny, deep aspects of maturity, and simple, subtle setups for the future.
Hell yeah, that's what the MCU was, and that's what it sold us as it was going to be. So yeah, I agree. John's other friend, Paul.
Yeah. So far, other Pauls made more substantial points than me.
Hey, we'll talk about points when we get back to the summer movie bracket buster. And speaking about Marvel stuff, it's also come out that John Bernthal, the actor who's playing the Punisher and also co-writing the Punisher Marvel Special Presentation, whatever they're calling those now, will be appearing in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the new upcoming Tom Holland street level Spider-Man film. And previously, Bernthal had said like he only wants to do the Punisher if it's going to be that hard line. It's the Punisher kick you in the teeth, shoot you in the back of the head when you're down kind of character. So him appearing in Spider-Man means that there's probably something in here that he really likes for the character, not necessarily the violence. So that makes me hopeful for what we're going to be getting with Brand New Day, because this is supposedly going to be a lot more grounded, and it's going to be focusing kind of on gang war stuff. Like some of the rumored villains for it are like Tombstone and Jigsaw.
Yeah, I think that'll work, and I think Bernthal definitely has a good feel for the character, and even like in the latest Daredevil,
So fucking good. It's
we
so
had, like,
good.
We're having that fight between them, and he's talking about his son and his family and all of that. Like, it's an emotion. It's an emotion that drive Frank Castle, and I thought it was really good. So yeah, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do with his own spinoff. Obviously, he's going to be back for Daredevil, the second season, and yeah, Bernthal's just great at that.
Yeah,
and it's really funny is he doesn't get that turn to be like funny or charismatic a lot when he plays that Punisher. Like, he plays almost the same character in The Accountant too. He's a lot more fun and has a little more heart to it. So I hope they can bring a little more art into his Punisher and not just him always going like, because he does that a lot as Frank Castle.
he does. But I'm here for it. Like the whole fight with him and Daredevil in the apartment building when Fisk's guys are like coming up, amazing. Like, love that so much. That's a talk for another future great Marvel movie retrospective, though. Something I sent over.
Famous, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Famous like Punisher Spider-Man comic book cover though. That's Spider-Man in the black suit with the crosshairs, and then Punisher on the opposite side, like with a gun. To kind of, but it's
first
definitely
appearance.
black suit Spider-Man, right? Is it black suit Spider-Man?
I'm pretty sure it is black suit Spider-Man.
I think it's red.
Is it?
I thought it was red and blue.
I can just.
He's like
Punisher's
hanging
in
off
black,
that
because that would be
ladder.
a lot of black characters.
He's hanging off the ladder. He's like shooting off the side of the building or something.
Yeah.
No, that is red and blue Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
And John, what you're speaking of is the Punisher's, I think, first comic, not his first appearance.
Okay.
But no, Paul, you explained it so well. You sent me into a Mandela effect type situation there.
I couldn't remember it. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I kind of want to, like, when you said, oh, Punisher's going to show up in a Spider-Man comic book, that's the image that popped in my head, that cover. But, I couldn't quite remember it. And I'm like, wait, does that happen when Spider-Man's in the black suit and that's why he shows up? No, it's much earlier than that.
Well, you remembered enough of it to sell it to me, Paul.
Yeah. 1974 that issue came out, so a good 9 years before Spider-Man would get into the black suit, right?
Yeah, because that was in Secret Wars. Something I was excited for and sat down to actually watch because we had PAX East just happen. We got the Borderlands 4 story trailer, so I sat down, watched this, and the subsequent follow-up to that. Coming out, I think it's September 19th, Borderlands 4. Paul, you watched it right before we started. John, as the other Borderlands fan on the podcast, have you watched the trailer for this yet?
He started watching it, and I didn't finish it. I also was like, I'm not going to get around to playing this for a while. I don't need to punish myself.
It's okay. It's more Borderlands, just iterating upon everything that they've done before. New planet, new Vault Hunters. Don't want to talk about it too much because it's something more to experience than discuss, I think. I'll have my car paid off this year. As soon as I pay that off, that money that I'm putting towards my car payment is going to go towards a new computer, since we have a much stronger presence now streaming and doing things online. I would like to have the resources to be able to keep up with that, so we don't have any more hiccups, and I can keep streaming other stuff and, maybe stream some games, because that's something I really want to do. And a new computer will help with that. And Borderlands will be one of those games, because I feel like, I could play Borderlands 4 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on my computer, but I think if I wanted to stream any of that, I would just have to call the fire department and have them waiting outside. Because I love these games. I love these characters. I'm always down for more Borderlands. And I know every time there's a game coming out on something that I don't have, like a system or a computer game that my PC can't handle, I'm like, this is it, guys. This is what makes me upgrade. And I never do. Like, I realize that. But, guys, Borderlands 4. This is where I upgrade, because I have to play this game. I've played all the other Borderlands when they launched. Like, how can I not?
Is this coming out for PC only? Wait, did
No,
I miss that? Or
it'll be
it...
PC. It'll also be on systems as well. Total cross-platform gaming. So if I'm on my PC and John's on his PlayStation, like, we'd still be able to, like, team up and play.
Very fun.
Very fun.
Is it coming out for the Switch too?
Maybe in like 8 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably not.
John, I know you weren't able to find what he said exactly, but do you want to talk about what you said about James Gunn?
Yeah, so James Gunn came out to say that his next big plan for the DCU is going to be really big. It's going to really excite fans, but he can't tell you anything about it because he's worried Marvel will steal it. Which I thought was kind of a fun little dig. And Paul, you had something to say about it.
I just like that kind of fun back and forth between like DC and Marvel. Like, I like the fun competitive kind of edge that they used to have like in the early aughts, like when Marvel was doing their stuff, but DC, maybe it's like I like it when DC's ahead in the competition. Maybe that's it. Like when
is that why you've been such a sad
you.
sack for the past 10 years?
10 years, man. It's been a long time. Just been in the desert waiting for really good DC stuff.
Papa Paul's time to shine, finally.
Yeah, finally. Maybe. But yeah, no, I like it when there's that fun competition going back and forth, like, because they all work for, all the writers, all the creatives actually work for both. So it's not like it's a real. Now there's even crossovers happening again, guys. Like, Kevin Smith is coming back to write.
Wait. Sorry,
Daredevil.
Before we go ahead, I just wanted to kind of speculate this because we already know Supergirl's filming. I'm not sure if filming's wrapped on that yet. So that's something that we already know about. So it won't be that one. We already know about the Bat Boys, animated Robin's movie, dynamic duo. So it won't be that one because this sounds like it's something that's further out that hasn't been talked about yet. Do we think it's going to be another big character? Do you think it's going to be Batman or Wonder Woman related, or do you think it's going to be another niche kind of property that I think that's where he excels in shining the light on those kind of lesser known, lesser developed characters that you can just do something crazy and weird with, but still holds true to that character and that story.
Yeah, I mean, it could be Justice League. It could be a live action Teen Titans. It could be something like that.
I don't want Justice League for 5 more years. I think that has to be earned and be solidified.
If they come out and do Teen Titans, they announced Teen Titans before Marvel announced what everybody's been waiting for since, Ms. Marvel showed up on screen and Hawkeye showed up. like before they announced an actual Young Avengers movie, I could kind of see that. But it's so big, like it makes me feel like, can they go through and do a like Crisis movie, bringing in the things from TV, like the Arrowverse?
But
I feel like they already kind of
they
failed
already-
at that with.
they
the
already
Flash.
did. They already did that with the crossover they did, and maybe it's going into the past and doing just a society,
Yeah.
putting those in, and maybe folding those characters in with the old and the new, because the Hall of Justice is supposed to be in the Superman movie.
Nice. All right, that would be cool.
That could be cool. Or is it just going to be
Maybe
Lobo
it's
because we already know
Justice
Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo in Supergirl? That now he's like full bore on the main man.
Be
Crickets.
Wait,
Wait, is that one of the sound effects? Wait,
Yeah.
wait, where's?
where's your soundboard?
Oh, it's on. This is taking longer than I want it to.
You're just pausing for dramatic effect. There you go.
There we go. Fuck you, Paul. That's okay. The quietness will be edited out. Yeah, I agree. Comment section. We do also need to have something Flash related. I think Flash is a character that is fantastic and can be engaging and liked when you put the love and care into them. And I hate that we haven't really gotten that. Like the live action Flash series was good, but the movie just seemed to be like reactive to the Snyderverse Justice League movie. But even Flash in Justice League Unlimited, fantastic character. Like shows so much heart in those episodes that get to like focus on him. So yeah, I think Flash definitely needs to happen. But do we think they would do Barry first, or do we think they just start off with Wally with Barry as some sort of mentor, like outside of Flashness? Or do we think they do whole Flash family, like Barry, Wally, like Jay, like all that?
Like we grew up, like we're like maybe we were a little old for Justice League Unlimited, but I think we were like the prime set for it. And we were in our late teens, early 20s when that came out. So even then we were growing up with Wally.
Yeah.
Like Wally was their Flash there as well. I don't know. That was early 2000s. So what's been out other than the Flash series that maybe kids grew up with and are now Flash, and that's Barry. But it's not really a Barry either, because that's not really Barry Allen either. Yeah. He's kind of a amalgamation of both. But I really don't know, because I don't know what the people in their mid to late 20s grew up with that they want in their Justice League, who their Flash is now.
Yeah, it's tough because you do have that show that makes people's WB show definitely is like, oh, Barry would be that generation's Flash. Kind of like the Flash, Barry Allen died in the early 80s, so the Flash that we always saw in comic books growing up was always Wally, and then when Wally became my Flash, like Jeff Johns' Flash run was like, oh yeah, I'll pick this up. But Wally had always been my Flash. I knew Barry existed, but Wally was like, oh no, he's my Flash. He was literally the Flash longer than Barry Allen was the Flash.
Yeah.
And I hate those, like, I always hated those fanboys that were from that older generation that were like, no, Barry. And now I'm the same thing going, no, Wally.
Yeah.
But I think...
And that's what I'm afraid of being right now, is like, okay, well, what... Yeah, I like Wally, but what's been out that somebody could have grabbed onto in their teens? Like, it was a TV show, and by that time, Barry was the Flash again in the comics. and it's been helter skelter. It's been not great, like in the comics
Yeah.
wise for Barry.
I mean,
but-
even in Absolute now, it's Wally West is the Flash that's the Absolute universe's Flash.
Yeah.
It felt redundant saying it that way, but I don't know. I think maybe the door's swinging back the other way now because Wally was so prevalent as the Flash, and then they had that circling of the wagons. They brought Barry back, and as a Flash fan, like I think I haven't really even paid attention to Flash stuff except for maybe like when he's popped up in a crossover. Paul, when you suggested that one issue for Monthly Look Back,
Yeah,
maybe like a year and a
camping
half
out.
ago, like I'm not a Flash fan anymore, but that could easily be changed by Flash being handled right in any format, like comics, movies, a TV show. Like, give me good Flash, I'll be there. I don't care if it's Wally or Barry, but I would prefer Wally for all of John's previously stated reasons. Like that's my Flash. That's who I grew up with.
My friend Max, first day I met him at work when I started at a new store. Met him, kind of talked to him. As he was leaving, he was wearing a Star Labs sweatshirt, and I was like, "Oh, sweatshirt." And he's like, "Well, you like the Flash?" I was like, "Yeah." "Who's your Flash?" And I was like, "Wally." And then we were best friends. We were like best friends. It was that like, okay. Like the next day at work, he's like, "You want to go on lunch?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah." And then we were friends. Went to lunch every day. Talked about comic books. Talked about this. Talked about that. But it was literally Wally West brought us together. Because if I had said any other name, he would have just kept walking.
I think he might have given you a half pass for Jake Eric.
No, I think Bart Allen would probably have been like like impulse, like you think outside the box, or you think outside the bun. If we were sponsored by Taco Bell, but we're not. We do have a sponsor though over at Dubby. If you guys want jitter-free energy, hey, Dubby.gg. Get 10% off your order. Help the Bagged Boardcast when you place your order by using our code BOARDCAST, BOREDCAST. Snuck that in at the last minute, guys.
Yeah, well, that's what I kind of paused for when I was throwing it over to Weekend Geek because I'm like,
Oh.
is that?
I was
when we're
just
reading
getting
it, or no?
situated. No.
Okay.
Paul, this is our show. We do what we want. Again, they're not paying
I'm
us.
surprised our tag. Yeah,
So-
that's true. And I'm surprised you haven't done the tagline "Be a good bubby" and get your dubby.
Well, I wouldn't do that, and now, Paul, I definitely will not. Take another sip of your drink, Paul. What are you drinking? That's not the delicious jitter-free energy provided by Dubby.
Yeah, it's very true. This is also from this is from Dogfish Head. This is last week. I cracked open that variety pack. I'm going back to the variety pack again. This is their 30-minute light IPA. This is only 95 calories, 4% alcohol by volume. I really like the Rec League packs that used to come out from. Who was the Rec League? Was that Victory?
I don't know.
I can't remember the brewery. If John was around,
It might have been
really
Victory. Because that's not something...
Yeah,
I know it's something you've had, but I don't get Victory down here, so...
and this is reminding me of that. It's a nice lighter IPA, very kind of crisp and chill. This is what I would think of a it's just a light, easy drinking beer. Maybe something to shotgun on 4th of July.
Hey, yeah, I didn't respond back to your question because that's actually from Harpoon.
Harpoon,
Brewing.
yeah, Harpoon. I used to really like those. Yeah, this is not much to it. I am coming from a nice, rich lager where I'm like, ooh, should I start off with the IPA first or the lager first? I probably should have started with this 30-minute IPA.
Yeah. So I don't know if maybe I just never had it. Is this something that's newer? Because I feel like
It's brand.
Okay, because I feel like
It's
with the
brand
Dogfish
new.
Head, like I remember 60, 90, 120. Like I don't remember ever having a 30-minute. So I don't know if maybe I just skipped over it because I'm like, well, why would I have 30 when I know like I love 60 and 90 and 120?
So maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe longer than that, they put out Slightly Mighty. And it was kind of on the craze of all day, where everyone was putting out sessionable, but making sure that they were low calorie beers. So you had like Daytime IPA from Lagunitas, and the other big one was the Dogfish one, Slightly Mighty. So this is basically, I think, retooling Slightly Mighty to give you that lower ABV, lower calorie beer, but putting it into the minutes line, because that's what everybody's doing right now is taking. This is one of our flagship beers, and now we're make beers around that.
Watch what you
So
say.
30-minute
Voodoo
is-
Ranger is currently scrambling the troops outside you. New Belgium's like, go for the kneecaps.
But you saw that with Bell's Two Hearted. They have Hazy Hearted. They have Double Hearted. They kind of went like that. I believe Dale's is going to start doing that with their Dales. You have that with All Day, but also, Chris, you picked up the Mortal Bloom,
Yeah.
where Mortal Bloom was just put out as an IPA, but now they have a Fruited Bloom, a Tropical Bloom, the Double Bloom. Like, it's just kind of where, like, oh, we've captured people, they like this beer, now we just spread out on that, make it a brand within our brand. So that's what I think. That's why they rebranded that 30-minute.
John, I saw you got a beer that I forgot came out this time of year again. It is Nimble Giant time, huh?
It is Nimble Giant time. A little early, but this is from Trogs. But this is my wedding anniversary beer because I shared this beer for the first time at my rehearsal dinner with Chris and Paul. We left the rehearsal dinner, went over to my house across the street, drank this, and finished recording a podcast.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Not to getting married, but to the podcast.
Podcast. But Nimble Giant is from Trogs Brewing, 9%, a once-a-year beer. It even says it on there. And incredibly drinkable, American style. It's still got the little bit of bitterness to it. IPA. Nimble Giant, because it is such a big beer, but it's so easy drinking. And yeah, hey, cheers, guys.
Hey,
Hey,
cheers.
cheers.
Hey, we're coming up to your anniversary. You got not a month, but like half a month.
Yeah, couple weeks.
So speaking about things that we have drank and are drinking or will drink, there has been a request in the comments for us to do a beatbox week. Paul. Okay, John laughed. Paul looked quizzically like he was the family dog sitting at the table, and you told him no because he cocked his head like no. Paul, beatboxes are like super cheap, super high alcohol by volume, like malt beverages that you can get at gas stations. They're adult juice boxes, and they're like 12%. They're great.
Yeah, they're tilt. They should be the new tilt bet.
The beatbox, you get beat by the box. Yeah, I'm completely down for this. I think we just need to pick a day. Maybe
They come in like cardboard.
yeah, it's like a cardboard
wax
box.
cardboard.
Like it literally looks like a juice box, except it's maybe like a little bit like thinner, like kind of
Yes.
waxy material. Yeah. No lie, I did grab one of these a couple weeks ago when I stopped at 7-Eleven on my way home from work, and I grabbed like a piece of like warmer box pizza, like a Reese's cup, and I was like, what am I going to drink tonight as I'm like unwinding? And it was like, fucking watermelon beatbox. Like, they're like $3. They're like super cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll find a day. I love this idea. What I don't love, though, is my next beer, and this is coming from Duclaw Brewing, and this is part of the Pastryarchy, and this is their Cookies and Cream White Stout. And
Hey.
said it before with the Boulevard barrel-aged s'mores. Boulevard does their sweet, big dessert beers really well. And when I see Duclaw, my mind instantly goes to Sweet Baby Jesus or Sweet Baby Java, like whatever the coffee one's called, because they do sweet beers really well. But I've come to learn the Pastryarchy stuff usually winds up letting me down one way or another, because this does say it's cookies and cream, and the can does have like a picture of like a nondescript sandwich cookie on it with a scoop of ice cream. There's a little bit of a chocolate malt on the nose, but when you take a sip of this, it's all just big coffee flavor. And this is also 8% ABV. And when you look at the site, it says ale with lactose, vanilla, whole roasted coffee beans, and natural flavor. That doesn't sound like cookies and cream to me. That sounds like it's like a cafe au lait, like a double shot kind of thing. Because, yeah, there's a minor coffee to it, but maybe I've been spoiled by the Southern Tier Blackwater stuff that I've had recently, because I had that Perry's strawberry... Or no, the strawberry shortcake, the cherry pie one recently, where you take a sip of that and you're like, okay, like, I get it. I'm tasting the graham. I'm tasting the vanilla. I'm tasting that cherry. This, it's just big coffee. And when I poured it, I had to take a look at it because I'm like, okay, it's a white stout, but it's definitely like a little bit darker. But yeah, I'm looking for that just big, rich, like chocolate vanilla mouthfeel with like a cookie, and it's not there because it's all coffee flavor. It doesn't say coffee and cream on this. It's cookies and cream. So this is a loss. It's not a bad beer, but if you're going in expecting it to be like someone scooped like cookies and cream ice cream into your glass and you let it melt and you poured like a stout or something into it, which also sounds delicious. I would much rather do that than drink this. You're not going to find that.
My question for the group is, it's not fun, is it, Paul, when somebody reviews a beer the week after you and then pretends like he didn't even remember that you reviewed it the week before?
It's been fine. It's been fine because I've been enjoying his comparing and contrasting of what I said. And I'm like, yeah, no, I mostly agree. Except I didn't read it as coffee. I just got bitter, like a bitter chocolate. Like a burnt chocolate kind of flavor going on. And then a little bit with the I got a little bit of the creaminess, like the center of the Oreo cookie on the back end, but you had to wait for it.
Yeah.
Because if you took another sip too quick, it was just, boom, back to that bitterness.
This is a loss. I regret buying it. I think this was also like $5 or $6 for the can.
Ooh, one can. I get a 4-pack, and I think.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy a 4-pack of it.
I've had it one more time since the podcast, and I was like, oh, maybe it's because I had a big IPA beforehand, and then I went right into it. No,
even like after I finish it, like that coffee bitter is still like lingering on my tongue. Like I would love for that to be washed away by a nice like rich like vanilla or like lactose cream, but no.
Yeah, but guys, this Nibble Giant is delicious.
I wasn't gonna buy any more because I'm like between these two variety packs right now. So I'm like, I don't need to buy more beer. I got two halves of a variety pack, in my basement fridge. But now I have to go buy more beer. I need Nibble Giant.
Let me know if you can't find it, Paul, and I'll set a 4-pack aside for you because I got the last 2 in inventory, which I was like, whoa! I thought I pre-ordered this. So I only got 2 cases of it, so I don't know if it's already come and gone in the market or what.
Yeah, I'll check by the consumers near me because they're probably the only place that would have it near me.
Check the date. Make sure it's a new one.
Yep.
Check it. And while you're checking, why don't you check and see what comic books you're going to be buying as we head over into the list. I'm going to throw it to one of you guys because I'm going to get up and get my next beer. So John put his hand
we
up.
didn't mention Kevin Smith,
Oh yeah,
who has been added to the Marvel DC crossover, who is going to be writing a Green Arrow Daredevil crossover, which is perfect because he wrote 2 great stories for both of those guys. We've said it a couple times with different characters. Jason Aaron on Thor made us Thor fans. Kevin Smith on Green Arrow made me a Green Arrow fan.
it's hard going back and reading that now because it's so steep just in the mire that was like that post-crisis.
Oh, right.
Like
Because he came back
DC?
to life.
Yeah, because Quiver was
back.
basically bringing him back after he had died, but then like catching him up to everything that was happening in DC, like at that time. So it's kind of a clusterfuck of continuity.
Yeah,
but
he has this like weird breakdown about Hal Jordan being the Spectre or something too, right? Like he learns that that's happened, and he's like can't believe it.
We learned
also,
that happened, and he's the one who brought him back to life.
Hal Jordan being the Spectre is key to what's actually happening in Green Lantern right now too. So that's kind of cool. We're getting a new Spirit of Vengeance. But yeah, I don't. So when you sent this over, John, I was excited because I was like, oh my gosh, like exact things you said before. Like, yeah, Kevin Smith made me read Green Arrow and love Green Arrow, and like I never got into his Daredevil. Like I picked up the Daredevil Target that he was writing that only had like that one issue, and it never happened again. But this is when I was like, all right, I would buy this book, and then come to find it's actually like a backup story in the Batman Deadpool thing that's happening. And I was like, well, now I'm less enthused by it. But the fact that one of the variant covers for that DC Marvel Batman Deadpool thing is a Daredevil Green Arrow cover, I'm like, well, that's the one I have to buy now. So like when I go to my comic book store, like I have to search out that cover.
And it's weird because it is the other backup stories are Captain America, Wonder Woman, and Jeff the Land Shark with Crypto team up. And I was like, why aren't these their own things within it? Because those all sound fun.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything about Jeff the Shark except for like the mobile game we played and that he's a playable character in that new fighting game. But I was like, I would pick that up. It sounds like it'd be fun. Like I would read that to Grayson because it would be a fun book. But then the fact that it's big names, like it's Kevin Smith and Adam Kubert doing Daredevil, Green Arrow, Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson on the Captain America Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that one's gonna be cool.
Kelly Thompson and Harura.
Oh, it's like Uhura.
Doing the Jeff the Shark and Crypto. Kelly Thompson on that book, automatically I'd be like, yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, it's so bizarre that it's backups.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe they just didn't want to go, to quote a DCism, all in and have this be like a big crossover. They just wanted it to be like a special event. So like one book instead of like 4 or 5. But you would have had my money for at least 3 of these, because the Captain America Wonder Woman one, I probably would have picked that up, because this is all like prime fodder for a look back. Be like, guys, our month is set. Yeah. Like we're gonna read all of these.
Exactly, and we would.
I mean, that's as comic book fans. If we weren't doing this show and I was just going to my comic book store weekly and I see like, oh, DC Marvel crossovers are coming back, I would want to check those out. Maybe not all of them, but at least, again, like 3 out of the 5.
Or sell it as an anthology book with stories with,
yeah,
them evenly dispersed within the book. Like it's odd, but it's odd that they would bring such big names backups. Backups.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't switch between DC and Marvel, and so the backup then becomes the main book over when it gets when the second issue comes out and it's published by either Marvel or DC, and then it switches back. No,
okay. There's not like second issues of this.
Oh, I thought they did like it would be like the first issue would be published at DC, so it would be Green Arrow, Daredevil, and then over when it got published over at Marvel, it would be Daredevil, Green Arrow.
Nope.
And it was a 2-issue thing. Okay, no, my bad.
Yeah,
go get your beer, Chris.
So now having all of that, like, doesn't this kind of suck?
Stop
That
telling
like,
me no and go get your beer. I'm tired of listening to you shutting me down.
First, you didn't like my beer I had last week. Didn't give any credit that I told you about it.
All right, so Paul, while I throw everything up on the screen here so people can see what you're talking about, what are you looking forward to coming out this week for the list?
The Thing #2. That's right. I think I enjoyed this book more than you guys did. I like that it's just the kid from Yancey Street just going through the old neighborhood and having to deal with his old bully to try to find the one girl's that was nice to him kid that got tangled up in something bigger than him. And apparently it involves all the big world's deadliest assassins from the Marvel Universe. So we're going to get the Thing versus Bullseye in this issue. And probably even more. Probably some more villains too. Hopefully will show up. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. John, where did you put this one thing?
I liked the Thing. I would pick this up. And again, like, I really enjoyed the story. It was the art that was lacking in this book, and I feel the same way with the cover. Like the bullseye being carved into his head. It's just not good enough. Like, it's fine, but a better artist would do a better job with it. It just looks cheesy.
So I walked away with Paul yelling at me for shutting him down, and then I sat back down with my beers to have John like, it looks cheesy. So did things get better for Paul?
No, it's fine.
Paul asked me, he goes, where did this fall when we read 1? And I said I really liked it. It was the art that was lacking. And you can definitely see that in the cover for this, because I think it comes off cheesy with the bullseye being carved into his head.
Okay. I don't mind this cover as much as the art in that first one. I think the cover looks better here than the art did in issue number 1.
The artist didn't change.
I know, but this looks better. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm looking forward to the new history of the DC universe. And this is going to we're going to learn our definitive history of the DC universe in celebration of 90 years of DC. Superfan and writer Mark Waid, and that's the only reason I'm picking it up, is because Mark Waid is doing it. Turns back time to the very beginning of the DC universe in a 4-issue miniseries drawn by some of DC's greatest artists and told by the newest chronicler of time, Barry Allen the Flash.
Oh, Barry Allen. Stop trying to make him a thing, DC.
I think they're taking him almost like off the board to bring Wally back. So he's the chronicler of time. I don't know. But artists on this issue is going to be Jerry Ordway and Todd Nuck. But man, you got a Chris Omni cover art, which looks really good.
Yeah, looks great. If nobody else had picked this would have been my pick for the week. This is also my pick for Look Back for this month. If John, you want to submit this as your pick for June, that's absolutely fine. I have other things I could pick, but this is something I'm actually excited for. I love an anthology book. I love kind of like a Secret Files and Origins book, and that kind of seems like what we're going to be getting here, because there are a bunch of like great characters and artists that are appearing in this, so I'm excited for this. 48 pages, $5.99. So it's not outlandishly priced. This sounds great.
Yeah. I used to love, like, you'd always find or get, or when I was a kid, you'd get those secret files. And that's how I learned about so many characters, but there was never anybody, like, super cool in them. You're like, oh, Matter Eater Lad, Ambush Bug. Like, it would just be, like, these bizarre third-rate characters, but you're like, oh, tell me more about Captain Carrot. Like, let's go.
And the Zoo Crew.
Chris, what are you
what's
picking
your
up?
book?
Wow.
This is always the mystery for us because Paul and I both share our picks, and oftentimes I pick Paul's picks.
Well, also, oftentimes either one of you will pick what I'm picking. So I'm lucky enough that I have a wealth of comic books that I love and am looking forward to each week. So when inevitably someone does pick whatever I'm looking forward to, like, say, History of the DC Universe, I have something I can fall back on. So that's why it's a mystery. It's not I'm withholding on you guys. It's because I don't want to say what I'm looking forward to and then have John, who buys like 2 comic books maybe for the week, be like, oh, I was going to pick that. Or Paul, who's like, oh, I was going to get X Factor.
Yeah, but oftentimes we go, what are you picking? And you go, wait for the show.
That's never happened.
Well, we'll do it live. I'll do it on the show.
That's never happened.
You're always Mr. Secrets. Always Mr. Secrets over here.
Hey, that's my secret. I've talked about it before. I am really loving this current iteration of the X-Men books. And while we have said goodbye to some of the titles that launched with this new publishing initiative from over at Marvel Comics, we're still getting Uncanny X-Men written by Gail Simone. Art has been rotating between a couple different people, but with X-Men number 16, we have David Marquez back on the book for part 4 of 4 of this current arc. Did you guys know that there's a secret hell for mutants down in the swamps of Louisiana? And that just happens to be where Haven House, where Rogue and Gambit's team of X-Men's hold up?
No, but I do remember them being down in Louisiana.
That's the thing that happened, yes.
They brought that soda to drink down there, right?
Yeah.
That special soda.
And then out of the woods, or out of the swamp, I guess, those new X-Men just came out of nowhere, and we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The Outliers. So one of those X-Men, Deathdream, has actually been selected to be the new guardian of this secret hell realm for the worst of the worst mutants. And it's up to...
Oh, the Hellmouth?
Yes. It's up to the rest of the Outliers and the Uncanny X-Men to get him out of this role that he seems destined to play. This is a weird and wild X-Men book. I don't want to draw a direct comparison to the Wolverine and the X-Men from Jason Aaron, but if you remember when we did read that issue number 1, it was Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine going up against the dragon that had one of the other eyes of Agamotto. So from the get-go, like, this is that X-Men book that you kind of know is going to be just doing some of those weird kind of like Silver Age tropes. I'm loving this book. I know a lot of people aren't fans of it because it's focusing more on these not new mutants, but the new mutants like Deathdream, Jitter, Ransom. But I'm here for it. My only complaint is I want more Jubilee, and this is the like Jubilee X book, and she's in like 2 panels where it's like, yeah, guys, let's go do that thing that we just talked about in the panel with Rogue as the Splash. I love X-Men.
So Deathdream is in every generation. There's a chosen one. She alone will stand against the monsters, the demons, and the forces of darkness.
If you remember Uncanny X-Men number 1, Deathdream is the young Japanese mutant who can't die, but he can also like speak with spirits, and again, he's prime for this position.
and he is the Slayer. Gotcha.
We'll see. I can't wait to talk about Buffy whenever we get that reboot. But yeah. And now, a dramatic reading.
Who's doing it?
It's Paul.
Okay. You said it over. I didn't know who was doing it.
A dramatic reading from
continue.
Fairy. I'm continuing. Shh. A dramatic reading.
Just go ahead.
Can I just go ahead? Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Should I continue now?
Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go. Can I go now?
Yeah, please.
And now, a dramatic reading from Fairy Quest #1, page 8, panel 2.
Don't say I'm being grouchy. I have good reason to be cautious. It's spring, and the leaves are already dying. Everything here dies too early. Let's hope that doesn't include us.
That was a dramatic reading from Fairy Quest #1, page 8, panel 2. And that's a book I forgot came out, written by the creative team that did Crimson.
Oh.
Yeah, Paul Jenkins and Paul Jenkins and Humberto Ramos. It was a 2-issue kind of like updated Fables, but not Fables, because it's just like the fairy tales like living and working together. So that was The Big Bad Wolf. If you couldn't tell, Paul and listener.
Oh.
And it made me be like, man, I never bought #2 of this. I dug this book. It's gorgeous. Humberto Ramos. Yeah. That's the thing we do.
The thing we do.
Also,
Another thing we do.
I'm gonna squeak it in there real quick. My next beer. So,
Beer reviews.
Okay. I thought I was ahead of the
Can you go?
game because we
Hey,
just did one.
Hey, John, can you go with the leading into the beer review?
Can you go,
John,
John? Can you go?
Can you?
Oh no,
lead
I
us
can't.
into
I don't
the
have
beer?
my next beer.
Oh, okay. Chris, can you lead us into the next
Yeah,
beer review?
I can listen to the next beer review because I did pick up a IPA sampler pack from Southern Tier Brewing, one of my favorite breweries from Lakewood, New York. I didn't just talk about. I sung the praises of the Blackwater series when I was talking about the other beers that I actually had for the show. But when I saw there was a new sampler pack that was all IPAs, I was like, okay, let me check this out because I think 2 of the beers that are in the sampler pack are just in the sampler pack, but also 4 out of the 5 are beers I haven't had before. So I'm like, hey, that's a win for when it comes to picking beer to talk about on a podcast and just having more beer to drink when I record another podcast with Paul for when we sit down to do Word Books with Friends in a couple days. I'm stocked up. But for this, I'm sitting down with the Smooth Rider Session IPA, and this is 4% or 4.8%, and it's a nice, good, drinkable session. It does not beat Founders All Day IPA,
Right.
which is my go-to session IPA if I'm drinking something that I'm just like looking to crush while I'm hanging out, reading comics, playing games, recording podcasts. This does have a little bit of a sweeter pop right at the front. I don't know what hops are in this. It might say, okay, citrusy hops and subtle sweet malts, finished dry and smooth. So, okay, I'm assuming it's probably like a Citra or a Cascade in this, and that's my hop profile. So that big sweet pop is very nice, but as a whole experience, I would still pick up a Founders All Day.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you pick up the sampler
The thing
pack,
is, your pick for the list this week.
you only have 2 more to get. The thing is my pick. 2 of those, and then you have 3 other IPA or 4 other.
Yeah, it's
other IPAs.
It's a
So you're not
15
just
pack,
stuck
and
with this
there's
Yeah.
3 of 5 different beers in it.
Yeah. So
For
at least,
like $20 bucks, like this
sometimes-
is a great price.
Yeah. I sometimes I don't want a 15 pack of just all day IPA. Sometimes I just want to. It's not. I don't mind having a couple sessions in there just for days that I want to be like, you know what? I just mowed the lawn. It's early, but I kind of want a beer. It's only 11 o'clock. I can have a session. but only needing a handful of those. I don't need a whole 15 pack. So having it mixed in with a IPA variety pack, it's a pretty good deal.
Paul.
I do miss the days of the Southern Tier pack being
Gemini.
different beers and not all being IPAs, but having like they had a lager, they had a blonde ale, they had a double IPA, they had a pale ale, they had an IPA where it was like it was the perfect box because it had something for everyone. I can bring this to the party because there's something for everyone. Uncle Joe can have the lager, you know. So, you know,
Little Tibby
now
can
it's
have the pills. Yeah, I get it.
yeah. And then they all went all IPAs, and then they had like 3 doubles in them at one time because they do rotate and change that box. That I was like, who's bringing this? Like, it's almost like who's bringing this to? It's not a party beer anymore.
Yeah.
It's a bridge filler kind of a thing because who's bringing this to a party for all these double IPAs?
It's great for recording a podcast with your friends where you talk about different beers and you also happen to like IPAs. Like, that's it. This is brewed for us.
But talking to people now, anybody that's kind of like just marginally into craft beers, meaning anybody that doesn't want to just drink a Bud, they want an IPA. So it seems like you bring a variety pack, most people will just want the IPAs out of that variety pack anyways. So I think we're kind of stuck.
I'm okay with that as someone that's, I don't want to say recently converted because it's been like 20 years of doing this now. Like, as someone that drinks IPAs and has come around to it, like, IPAs used to be like the thing when like the big mass market, like, macro breweries would be like, ugh, do you want a real American beer or do you want the IPA? And they would just like cut something like, a little bitter. Like, and the fact that now like IPA, it's not like the butt of the joke. It's like, this guy probably drinks the IPA. That's a win. I think that's like, yeah, expect more from your beer, like actual ingredients, actual like flavor, actual experience.
But then again, I like brought like because you know we've talked about it a lot of times on the show. The Pauliner beer. Pauliner. I always mispronounce it.
Well, it's because you lean when you say it, so you're a Pauliner.
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 To share at when I went out for a round of disc golf with people I work with, and the one guy has it. And he's like, "Oh, this is really good." You know, I'm really enjoying the hops in this, and I'm like,
Are you,
"Hey, bud?
Good.
That's kind of the opposite, but okay. I'm glad you're enjoying." Like, I chuckled and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just glad you're enjoying the beer, bud. I'm just."
Well, people connect bitterness to hops.
Yeah.
And then John's like, but it's actually the IBUs is what you want to pay attention to.
But because that beer does have some bitterness, and it is coming from like those hops, but it's not the same as like drinking a bitter IPA. Yeah. But as soon as you taste that, people are gonna go, ugh. And if you give somebody a beer, because I've sampled beer to lots of people, it's a lager, and people are like, oh no, too hoppy. And I like you look at them, but you're like they just if it's slightly bitter, like a style should be, it's always gonna get them. But yeah, it's funny when it happens, and to say like when Chris was talking there, it was like I get people all the time that come up now versus like if IPAs in the past, but now when people are asking for something or they pick a beer up, like this lady grabbed Yingling today, and she was like, "It's not for me. I drink IPAs. I'm getting this. My niece works for the company," and I was like,
"Yingling's good. That's fine."
For the company, if your niece works for the company, she drinks Yingling all the time. Are you just showing her that you support her brand just when she comes over? Like, I don't know what we're doing here. But okay, that's fine. But you don't have to defend your beer picks to me. Like, I learned when I
You're
learned when
wearing a brewery shirt. You got the beard. You got the glasses. You got the physique.
I learned within my first year of running a beer shop that I took my beer snob chip off my shoulder. Because I'd have people go, my kids say I need to drink this, and I'd give them like a craft lager or a craft this or that. And they'd come back and I'd be like, oh, how'd you like it? And they're like, I hated it. And I was like, oh, okay. It's house lager from
Jack's Abbey?
Jack's Abbey.
Oh,
Like
it's
it's
delicious.
what beer should taste.
Yeah.
That's what beer should taste like. This is what beer tastes like. No, didn't like it. And then I've also recommended that beer, and people are like, "Oh, this reminds me of beer when I was a kid. Like I want to buy more of this."
You ever have a Billy beer?
Yeah, and it's funny. It's just like, oh, we've kind of come full circle now that those people who were like, I'd never drink an IPA. Now they're defending themselves when they buy a Yingling or a Bud or a this. But
I
tell people all the
I love them.
I tell people all the time, my kids say I should drink this. I go, do you like what you drink? I love it. Drink that. You don't need to branch out. If this is what you want to drink, drink it. If you go to a brewery, try something new. But if you're paying money for a pack that you're going to have to drink 6, 4, 12 of, just buy what you want. Like, buy what makes you happy when you drink it.
Well said.
And I'm drinking from Industrial Arts
Ooh.
their new beer called Hexbolt IPA.
I was going to say, is it a
Clean-
tool?
For some reason, it reminds me of like old
a
school
fastener.
Gatorade packaging with that lightning bolt.
Oh, the orange lightning bolt. Okay, yeah. I
Um,
can see that. John, is
this
it
is
in
just-
you?
It is. I'm halfway done with this beer. It's delicious. This is a brand new one from Industrial Art.
He was talking about your microphone. You were coming through a little bit fuzzy.
Oh,
No, I was making a Gatorade reference.
I know. Maybe I was a little bit too
Okay, I
slow.
wasn't
I had a
sure.
joke. I had a joke.
thought process going back to
Let John
not
finish
getting
his
not getting
thought,
zinged,
Chris.
not getting zinged. Going back to my beer, this is really good. They call it an American IPA, but this reminds me of like a cold IPA. Like it has that crisp lagery kind of ness to it with those really nice citrusy hops following it up. 6%. I opened this. I have from Big Ditch their double IPA, and I was like, I crushed that Nimble Giant. I don't need another 9% IPA. I'll do something smaller, and I didn't think this would hold. My palate would acclimate to this beer, and it did. Like, this beer holds up. This beer is really, really good. I recommend it. Paul, your next beer after picking up Nimble Giant should be Hexbolt. I think you'll really like it.
All right, I'm excited.
I know I already talked about a beer, but I cracked open another one because we're about to head into the main topic, and I got 3 more in front of me. Southern Tier Lakeshore Fog Hazy Juicy IPA, 6.5% ABV. I'm shocked how much I really like this one. This is fantastic. Big citrusy, like sweet hop flavor on it. This is kind of what I was expecting from the Smooth Rider a little bit more, when it was like citrusy hops. This is fantastic. And when I went to check into it, I saw I had a bunch of friends that also checked into it, and I have family that use Untapped. So when I saw I had 4 people check into this beer and it was like an average score of like 3.56, I was like, Oh, my people also like this beer. When I looked at it, it's producer Scott, my friend Keith, and then someone I worked at GameStop with, Jonathan, who added me on Untapped randomly. I was like, oh, cool, John. This is fantastic. Like, I don't know if either of you have ever had this. Like, if this is available outside of a variety pack, Lakeshore Fog. Like, holy cow! Like, this reminds me of those Southern Tier IPAs that we would have when Southern Tier was kind of that blooming, blossoming brewer. Like, oh my gosh! Like, this new Southern Tier beer came out, and it wasn't all just the Blackwater stuff, which again I love. But like this takes me back. It's like Public Day.
Wow.
Lakeshore Fog. If you look at Scott's check-in, it's probably on a Super Bowl Sunday because we had that at Beers of the World. Paul, you were there.
Yeah.
When we did on Super Bowl Sunday, Texas Day Brazil runs a super menu. So our friend group went there, had Texas Day Brazil, then went to Beers of the World to watch the Super Bowl and have a couple beers. And that was the first time Scott had that beer because it had just been released. And that's probably like
4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
More.
Yeah. I think probably somewhere in there. But this beer replaced
2019.
New School or New Juice, which... Yeah.
He had
So
Bray
this
Miller's
year-
Lanes in Hamburg, which is Bray Miller's back, or was this prior
No.
to the collapse? Oh, that's really sad.
That was prior. That was
Ooh.
prior to
Yeah.
the collapse.
But we had that for the first time. It had just come out. And
It was the Eagles Patriots first Super Bowl, I believe.
maybe. But that replaced New School
First-
or New
not
Juice,
first
whichever one was probably New
Okay.
Juice.
Yeah.
And that was around for a couple years, and then they got rid of that and brought out a new beer, a different beer. And this is a beer that people have been clamoring for them to bring back. And they brought it back just in the 15 pack to get people who love that beer to buy that pack. But I remember really liking Lakeshore Fog.
Yeah, this
and
is-
I thought it was like, oh yeah, this is after having New Juice and New School, and I feel like there was another new beer from them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they're back, baby. Like Southern Tier making a good IPA that I really want to drink. It doesn't turn to skunk after like 2 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Lakeshore Fog.
I put it at 3.75 when I checked into it, and now like I'm in like a few more sips into it. I'm like, this is a 4. Like this is great.
Nice.
Anyone else crack open another beer while I was talking?
I did crack open. We're talking about IPAs here, so I got the Midwest IPA from Great Lakes. This is ABVs of something like 7% ABV. Just a decent standard IPA. I'm not gonna like leap praise on it like the fog, like short
The
fog,
Hex Bolt.
or the Hex Bolt. This is a standard IPA. It's not bad. From Great Lakes, I like the Elliott Nest from Great Lakes. That's really good. I love Edmund Fitzgerald from Great Lakes. So
Christmas
far,
Ale,
the Christmas Ale.
Oktoberfest. They do
Yeah.
classic beers really well.
the
they've
IPAs just
They've never really hit IPAs except for Lake Erie Monster, and
What did they
the
change the name to?
surf
Twilight.
one.
Twilight Hour.
Chill
Because
Wave.
it was like Chill Wave. Because it was like
It was
Alchemist
Alchemy
Hour.
Hour.
Yeah, Alchemy Hour.
Alchemy
yeah,
Hour.
Alchemy Hour, Chill Wave.
And
Like,
if
those were really good, but those are also, if you think about when we drank those, that was back in the day with West Coast style IPAs that were slightly getting juicy.
Yeah, this is like a mid-juice IPA. This is kind of juicy, but it's not enough to be "quote-unquote" a juice bomb. So
And it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's like on that cusp of being a juice bomb. So it's
But you
like
think East Coast, West Coast, what
But
is
there's-
this beer called?
Midwest,
Midwest.
Hey.
but there's no bitter
In
to it.
In the middle.
Yeah. Where you
Think
get
about-
hit by both side cars coming from both sides. It's there's
As
nothing
someone who
there.
drinks a hay burner, they call an American IPA because it's a little west, it's a little east. Is it bitter?
Yeah. It's more bitter than this,
All right,
right?
But it-
like
not really. I
gonna-
never really.
you're okay. I have more beer this. I have a hay burner downstairs for my next beer because we're doing pub trivia. We're having a next beer, guys. I'll have a hay burner and I'll do back and forth on them, and because I don't have the best memory when it comes to beer. I wish somebody would develop an app where I could write notes and like save the beers that I drank.
and not give
Right.
them all 5s. Oh look! Oh, classic resting head on microphone. Paul would get mad at us and rest his head on his microphone because we have gone too far. And Chris has just done it in return.
How's
That's
that for
something
a
that hasn't
throwback,
happened-
bud? It's so much easier because like when we did that before, like we were just like recording in Scott, so like it was like a microphone stand. I have an arm, so I was like, "Ooh, I can position this so it's comfortable."
So let's do pub trivia.
Hey,
This is your night, bud. Your night
Yeah.
to shine.
Pub trivia. I'm gonna go first because Chris goes last because Chris always
I didn't do anything too
Chris-
major this time. I'm sorry.
Chris
I had an
brings
idea.
it and he blows us. He blows us out of the
Don't
water.
set me up like this because I did not do that this time. Because I was
still
waiting
gotta
I was waiting for John to do it because John's the horror movie guy. You've heard it over on the Movie Fix. You may have also listened to John's side podcast that he did with Horror Movie Massacre. John's a horror movie fan. He knows what he's talking about. So I was like, I'm not going to top him. So I'm going to do something dumb and like fun / easy for Paul, who's not a horror movie person.
But I told you my premise and what I was doing for my quiz last week.
and I totally
So-
forgot what it was
So hopefully it helped.
instantly.
That's
But
great.
also,
Hey, did you ever watch that thing? And which
Yeah, I've watched the thing.
yeah, I love the
Yeah,
thing. It's
love
one of my favorite movies. No, Paul, because you talked about it on the podcast. Hence, as soon as I stand up and walk out of this room after the podcast, everything that's happened is I forget.
Yeah. Just like
Paul-
the beer. Yeah.
Paul, who may still be on the Twitch, he comes up to me and talks to me about stuff that he listened to on the podcast, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, I said that? Oh. But because I needed to work it so Paul could
I could participate.
he could be in this realm.
Yeah.
He could participate.
Thank
I
you.
had
See,
a
I
couple
like that,
ideas,
Paul.
and it was
Paul, as much as we gang up on you, like we both took you into account when we did our horror movie question.
I
So
do appreciate it.
we love you. We appreciate you. We accept you.
and I was gonna do something that connected the movies, like it would be like Black Christmas, Christmas Massacre, like do things like that. And then I was like, man, that sounds like too much work. You know what I had the most fun doing is when we did our Lord of the Rings one, and it was Samwise versus Sam from Sex and the City.
Okay.
I
Right.
did another one, and ready? This is Ash versus Ashley. Yeah, that's right. Are these quests coming? Are these quotes coming from Ash from the Evil Dead universe, or Ashley Tisdale from
Hey.
High School Musical?
I know we
and
just
it's
said we were
usually-
going to include Paul in the podcast, but this seems like you just did it for me.
Right. Sweet Life is Zach and Cody.
But also-
Sweet Life on deck. What else?
Who knew that Ashley Tisdale was the older sister in Phineas and Ferb? I didn't know that.
I did. Yeah, she's Candace.
I didn't know that till I started doing this quiz. So without further ado, we're gonna go back and forth between the two of you.
Okay.
If you don't get it right, Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It goes to the next guy.
Okay. So all I need to do is go Ash and just hold that until John gives me like, and then I'll go Lee.
You're gonna go
And then-
Ash or Tisdale. How about that?
Oh,
Man,
okay.
you can't find a way to cheat, Paul.
It's not cheating. It is playing the game. Playing the social aspects of the game.
I sat down. I've played 2 times now. HeroClix with my son, and had a lot of fun. I shared a picture of our second time playing. Just pointed out that my son wasn't wearing a shirt.
I feel like I
pointed
didn't
out-
need to point that out. Like, he's just obviously not wearing a shirt. That's not something
great-
you just missed, John.
Sure. The comment was, "Are you playing shirts versus skins?" Which I thought was the funniest thing ever. And then Paul followed up with, "This is a great way to find out if he's colorblind, because that's how we found out Paul is colorblind, because he kept using super moves that he didn't have. I'm gonna use blades and claws. Spider-Man doesn't have blades and claws. Well, what? What's it? That's orange, bud. It's leaps and climbs." I don't know what this game is about. Is this brown? No, it's green. But anyways, we'll start with Paul.
Okay, here
Are
we go.
you ready? Are
I'm
you
ready.
ready, Paul?
Oh, I'm so ready.
All right,
Chop
you
smart.
primitive screwheads, listen up. You see this? This is my boomstick.
Oh, that's definitely Ash from Evil Dead.
There you go.
Actually, that's Ash from Army of Darkness.
That's true.
You
I
only
know.
had to say Ash or Tisdale.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
so-
just giving Paul shit because I thought that was funny.
That's true. That was good. That was a good call.
Watch me just bomb this now. 2 in my head. Too cocky.
Did you watch Sweet Life stuff or no?
No.
No. I'm asking Chris. Because
Yeah,
they
I
had
watched Sweet Life.
okay, on deck or
No,
just
not
Sweet
on
Life?
deck. Because after they went on
Deck,
deck,
you only had a
yeah, she had like guest star stuff. They brought in the girl from Jesse
Yeah.
as like that one.
entertainers are so temperamental.
Oh, that's Ashley Tisdale, but I'm going to say that's probably Ashley Tisdale as Sharpay from High School Musical.
Which High School Musical? I'll give you extra point for that.
High School Musical 2.
Correct. Ooh, Chris is on the board with 2 points to Paul's 1.
Yep.
And really, you should get half a point because you said Army of Darkness.
I suppose that Evil Dead, not Army of Darkness. You're right. All right. Let me get in it. Let me really channel.
That's also an Ashley Tisdale reference, Paul.
Change of plans. Save it for Halloween.
Oh, I'm actually going to go with Tisdale. on that
Tisdale, you are correct. That was my only trick question in this.
And I got it.
Got it.
That's worth like 3 points.
Because it was a trick question.
No.
It was a trick. No, it's worth 1.
It's a trick.
I'm
Get an X.
on the board with 1.5. I'm only a half point behind Chris now. Let's go.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past.
Could have been king.
But in my own way, I am the king.
Hail to the king, baby. That's Ash Williams, Army of Darkness.
Yeah. I'm going to give you an extra point because you finished the next line. Hail to the king, baby.
That's a good call. Good call.
Which was also the name of the Evil Dead Army of Darkness game that came out on PlayStation that I think I was the only person that bought. John, I don't know if you ever picked it up, but it was like a hack and slash, like you had to unlock like the chainsaw and like deadite
I
grenades
think
and
I
shit.
borrowed it. I borrowed it from you. But you're too boastful and bragful. You're a loudmouth bragging. I'm gonna take a point away.
Oh no. Wait, are all men from the future loudmouth braggers? Just me, baby. Just me.
You know what's good is that we're all wearing headphones, so we can't see each other's cauliflower ears, so it's okay. Nobody can make fun of us.
One of my favorite lines. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Right there, Spinach Chin.
That's Ash.
All right, Paul.
Is it bad that I was going to make a Spinach Chin reference after Paul was talking about cauliflower ears? And I was like, I'm already like just traipsing all over this stuff with my references. I should have, though, because it led into the next question.
I misremembered the spinach chin line, thinking it was something about a cauliflower ear.
Who wants a
okay.
little?
So
You're good. You're eating your veggies.
I tried to keep up, and I fell behind.
Oh, you miserable bag of bones. Pick yourselves up. Sally forth. Sally forth. Sally forth.
I mean, that's technically
That's Deadeye.
Ash, but it's Evil Ash. You're good.
It's
Ash.
Deadeye
Ash.
Ash.
Correct. Evil Ash. Question.
I feel like that
another
was
trick
also
question.
a trick question.
That's two trick questions right there. He tricked us with saying that was the only trick.
They're all tricks. It's
They're
a
all
trick.
tricks.
Get an X.
I'll spoil those good looks, you backstabber.
I'm going to go with Tidsdale.
Oh.
Oh, Paul.
No?
Followed up an Evil Ash with an Evil Ash, bud.
Oh. Okay. Well, my bad.
Sorry, dude.
That's all right. Hey, I'm in this game still. It's anybody. We're all tied up at Fun to Fun.
How's it going? The show makes the captain of the Titanic look like he won the lottery.
I mean, that will be Ashley Tisdale. And is that High School Musical 3?
No.
Oh,
It's
two.
for one.
it's
Oh, it's
2.
Dude.
Oh. Ooh.
You still get a point. You still get a
I know, but now I'm just let down by myself, which to me is a minus point.
All right. You're okay. You're doing
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you. That's the affirmation I needed in my daily life. I'm okay. I'm doing all right. Thank you.
All right, Paul.
It's 50-50
Focus-
chance.
focus
I'm
in.
focused.
Focus in. Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants. Well, I've got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. And Jack just left town.
That's Ash Williams from Army of Darkness.
Buddy, it's Tisdale from High School Musical 3.
I never got
No,
that
Paul.
far in the sequels.
You're correct. You're correct.
I don't know if
Ash.
John knows he's doing it, but he's putting on like a braggadocious nature every single time he does it. He's like,
Every time.
okay, okay.
You ever notice? I read the Ashley Tisdale's a little more feminine. Like
I feel like you
I have
don't.
no-
I feel like you're just going all in on the Ash.
you got to. There's such swagger to these lines.
There's such great lines.
All right. It's been brought to my attention. Make
It
sure
would
that
be
I read.
hilarious to hear a couple of the Ashley Tisdale's lines. Ash from the Evil Dead.
That could throw it. That could be the game
Sorry,
changer.
I agree
there.
with
These cookies are genius. Best things I've ever tasted. You will make some more for me, Zeke.
I might make you a creme brulee. That's Ashley Tisdale, High School Musical 1. That's that's after like the main show-stopping number at the end, because after we're
when
all
she-
in this together, she runs into the gymnasium.
And I'm sorry, Paul, but he followed up with the next line, which is make you a creme brulee. I think it's an extra point. I'm sorry.
My favorite thing to
You don't need to
say.
apologize. When he's that good, you award it.
My favorite thing to say, and when I see this pop up on like my Instagram feed or whatever, like, and I share this and I say like creme brulee, more like creme brulee, because that's how Zeke gets it.
I really like creme brulee. I
brulee's
actually enjoy
delicious.
making it. Good. It's
Yeah, you crack it.
crowd pleasing every time I make it.
That's a jazz square, Paul. It's a crowd pleaser. Everyone loves a good jazz square. Also, a High School Musical reference. I'm on fire.
You're on fire.
Going to the movies, listening to music, and golly, Troy, I have first aid training. Oh, please.
That has to be Tisdale.
Alrighty.
But there was a
Back
moment
on the-
Which one?
just in that
Back
delivery.
on the board.
It's actually, well, since it's in Troy, it couldn't be Sharpay's Great Adventure or whatever. Or
No, that's not good. That's High School Musical too. Because they're talking at the pool. She has first aid training. Because they're at her family's resort.
Country Club, some might say.
All right, Chris, ready? Oh, boo-hoo. He'll be fine in the show. He'll do his celebrity impersonation.
This is a great read. I'm going to say it's Ashley Tisdale.
It is Ashley Tisdale.
Okay, that
You-
has
you
to be
sold
talking
it.
about her brother, right? Ryan.
I think it's like another kid that's at like the talent show.
The
in
next
High School
line is-
Musical too.
Don't lecture me about Ryan.
Okay.
Paul's
Paul's
he's
there?
going for some.
Paul's
I
coming
tried
back.
to get a bonus point there by saying, "Hey, she must be
Coming
talking about
extra
Ryan."
on his way up.
Talking about Ryan. Give him that extra point.
Thank you, thank you.
Right, Paul.
I only wanted it if I earned it.
You earned it. You don't like the fact that I won.
That sounds like a Tisdale line.
It's a Tisdale line, Paul. Tried to get you on
You,
that one.
Paul, you got that. But
Dude,
John,
what
you're
questions? I got 'em
now
both.
that you've
delivered
like
great.
changed it up. Like, have I never realized the Ash to Ashley like similarities? Is that why I love both of these characters so much?
I guess so. Are you ready?
They're both so fucking smarmy. Yes, I'm ready.
You are so busted.
Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah,
It is
that's
Ashley
Candace
Tisdale.
from Phineas and Ferb, right
From
there.
Phineas and Ferb. The other line I almost said was Phineas and Ferb are doing. Which, going through her quotes from that, it's all
Oh yeah,
Mom, look.
it's always a gotcha moment.
Mhm.
I'm gonna need to run away, but can I get a score count?
Right now, Chris is at 9. Paul is at 7.
Very generous with those bonus points there. Wow.
Well, hey, I got to get points somehow. If it wasn't for bonus points.
Chris would be at 10, but he had taken away for smugness.
All right, what's so it's
I'm gonna go 2.
okay.
Just because we
I'll-
have so much more segments to do, and I gotta.
Yeah, I will hang out with the chat.
You are. How's the chat going?
Yeah. Chat's going great. They're talking about their first celebrity crush. So that's something.
Was it Ashley Tisdale?
Yeah. I was going to go and call it out on the show because we all know we only have one watcher. But John, you called it right out, man. Like you did it. You threw them onto the bus like that.
This will be edited out.
Yeah, that's true. So Christina Ricci is probably my first celebrity crush, and still on the list. Just gonna say it.
Okay. If I had to pick my first celebrity crush, it would be Fievel's sister, Tatiana, from the movie Fievel. Well, Great American Tale. But then also Great American Tale,
thought you were
Fievel
like,
Goes
no,
West.
I only like her. Fiverr Goes West. I only like her in a country outfit.
I
Which,
mean,
hey,
I don't know.
country outfits are pretty cute.
I realized a while ago that there was something about growing up in the 80s and 90s that like I just had a thing for cartoon mice. Can't defend it now. I can't describe it with my current thought, but I will say my girlfriend is very petite, so I got a type.
Oh, see?
I would say kind of mousy. Yeah.
Is that why you always buy cheese?
I buy cheese because it's delicious. But Paul, great job over on the Ash versus Ashley.
Oh, thank you. I felt like I got a bonus point there. Really kept me in the game. Excited so far. I'm actually, since John's taking so long, I'll have you hang out with the chat, and I'm going to get that hay burner that I voted about before.
Yeah, get up, get that hay burner. Because I can talk to the chat now because I too, and this should not come as a surprise, love Ashley Tisdale. I don't know what it is. High School Musical, Phineas and Ferb, Sweet Life. I don't know. She's just got something. I actually bought both of her like pop albums and had them in my collection until I purged all of my CDs when I moved across the country. I love Ashley Tisdale, and that's like thing that people I know in my real life, they also know that about me. So I have a lot of like Ashley Tisdale stuff that people bought from me because they're like, hey, you love the Tiz, so here it is. And yes, she was also in Aliens the Attic, and she did the closing credit song for that too, Switch, which is probably one of my favorite Tisdale songs. Yeah, Aliens the Attic, not a great movie though.
No, I looked at that movie. Not a lot of good quotes from that either.
But that could have been like the ooh, gotcha. And also Kirsten Dunst, yeah, like Kirsten Dunst also has that kind of weird, you grew up alongside her for like me at least, where looking back I'm like, ooh, that's kind of weird. But then I'm like, no, like we're the same age. Like it's obvious I would be attracted to her when I saw Interview with a Vampire because I was 8. Like,
yeah.
But now it's like weird.
Yeah, it's weird to look back and go like, oh yeah, I had a crush on her.
I see what I was into. No, no. But yeah, Kirsten Dunst. Like, so while Paul's away, celebrity crushes growing up.
I can't think of her name now from Adventures in Babysitting. Not Leah Thompson. It's what's her name?
I can see her.
No, me too.
Oh gosh, this really bothers me. Adventures in Babysitting cast. Elizabeth Shue. Yeah, she was in Back to the Future. Yeah, she was the Jennifer. Yeah,
and she was in Karate Kid. Like,
yeah,
it was in all those movies I loved. But man, I was like,
were you ever a Phoebe Cates guy?
Not really, because I didn't watch any of her stuff till I was older.
Yeah,
and then I was
same.
like, yeah, she's good. I mean, like,
Fast Times.
There's nothing sexy about her. It's all sad and gremlins. Like, you can't be like, oh, hey.
But as Paul would say, it's the vulnerability.
No, that's
I
what
say
John
that.
says that.
I say
Oh, it's John that says that. Yeah, okay. Paul, you already gave your celebrity crush, Christina Ricci, which, yeah, nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Do you remember who was next? Who was next?
I was up next.
Yeah, because you said you wanted me to go less because I always have the showstopper, but I'm like, no, today don't.
Who's the next one?
For the questions, yeah.
Oh, I thought we were done. I thought.
Oh no!
You said point thing, and I'm. You're at 9. I'm at 7. Here we go.
All right.
Apologies. I thought we were done with it. That's why we were moving on.
I believe in dreaming, shooting for the stars.
That's Tisdale.
Isdale. Good one, Paul.
Ash gave up on his dreams long ago.
Baby, to be number one, you gotta raise the bar.
That's Ashley Tisdale.
That is Ashley Tisdale.
I thought that one could be both, and the delivery.
Because it starts with a baby. So as soon as I heard baby, I'm
No.
like, oh yeah, it's Ash.
That was another trick question. That's 4 trick questions so far. He said there was only one.
That's the
Said
trick.
I got it. Made me feel special.
Hey baby, it's
I told you.
Billy Talk.
Pillow talk, baby. I told you not to do the jazz square.
Oh, that's Ashley Tisdale right there.
Ashley Tisdale, Paul. Back on the board.
Everyone loves a good jazz square. It's a crowd pleaser.
We need to save our show from people who don't know the difference between a Tony Award and Tony Hawk.
Ooh. It's a difficult one. Ashley Tisdale?
Yeah,
Ashley
I think,
Tisdale.
I think if you think back to High School Musical, the first one,
Yeah.
I think you should have said it in that one.
Don't touch that, please. Primitive intellect wouldn't understand alloys and compositions and things with molecular structure.
That has to be Ash. And are these all from Army of Darkness?
They're all from. He's got the best lines in it.
It's a very quotable movie.
Oh
It
man,
is. That is true. He's just mostly screaming and getting blood, like, thrown on him in the
Yeah.
first 2.
oh, it's just what we call pillow talk, baby. That's all.
We talked about it before, Chris. I'm pretty sure we talked about it before, and it was definitely a Tisdale line.
I mean,
I think you should answer Tisdale.
I heard her say that, and then I woke up and I went back to watching Army of Darkness with Bruce Campbell as Ash.
You ready, Paul?
Mhm.
Nope. Just me, baby.
That's Ash
Just
from
me.
Army of Darkness.
I imagine that when John wrote these down as just like the mnemonic for himself, he wrote all of the Ashley Tisdale lines in like a glitter gel pen, and that's how he's like differentiating between it.
Good.
This is the Chris.
This is the Chris.
I ain't that good.
Can I get that again? That was quick. I was not ready.
I ain't that good.
Oh, that's Ash. Bruce Campbell Ash.
That's Ash.
You're good, Ash. I'm bad, Ash. Right? That's the scene?
Yeah.
Nice.
Groovy.
Groovy has to be Ash.
God,
Ash.
I'm really hoping that John had found like the one scene where it's like, oh, actually, that's from Sweet Life on Deck.
Yeah, like it was 70s night on Sweet Life on Deck. They had a 70s disco party, and Ashley Tisdale.
They trotted out some 70s whore as a guest star. She didn't know where she was. She was just on deck. Go ahead, John.
Good. Bad. I'm the one with the shotgun.
That's Ash.
That's Ash. Paul, last one.
Last one. Oh, I started. Okay, cool. I get to last one. It's like a bonus point.
I couldn't
for me.
remember.
It's
I couldn't
fine.
remember.
We're good. We're good.
This-
I'm behind by 3 points. It's okay. No matter what happens here, unless I get some bonus points, we won't tie it up.
This one I didn't have it even written down. I was going to give you this extra one
It's a trick question. They both said it.
just from memory because it's one of my favorite lines that I use on my son all
Then
the
it's
time.
definitely from Ash,
Exactly.
the Evil Dead. And we already heard about Spinach Chin, so it has to be your second favorite line. Ooh.
Hey, what's that on your face?
Is that the line?
Yeah.
Then it's Ash from
Yeah,
Army.
that's Ash.
Yeah.
When he goes, hey, what's that on your face? He's burying evil Ash, and he's like, huh? And then he throws the dirt on his face. I do that to my son. I go, what's that on your face? And then I slap him across the face with a pillow.
Jeez. You're right,
I
John.
also,
The
do
save
the,
burner.
I also do the, hey, what's that up there? And then I tackle him.
Fun. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun, and I literally was like doing so much like overthinking on stuff, and then I was like, you know what was great is when I did the Sam versus Sam. Oh, who could I do? And it like instantly was like Ash versus Ashley. I was like, oh, it's done. It's sold. Perfect.
I mean, the songbird of our generation. And then also Ashley Tisdale. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
You ready for my? Am I going next, Chris?
Yeah.
Next, Jeff? Yeah.
Absolutely. Chris always goes last for these.
Mine is mine.
the-
You know mine.
You're building it up, and I'm...
Don't say that. Don't say that because you're going to be like, oh, this is blah, 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 blah. And I also have 95 questions.
No,
for
I
you.
have like 11 because accessible.
Mine are. I only got 10 questions, so go back and forth. You'll both get 5. We're playing another round of higher or lower, but this time there's a twist. Earlier or later. All right. I'm going to name a movie. I'm going to give you a character in that movie and a short description. I have written down the timestamp within the movie of when they died.
Oh.
We're going to start off. I'm going to give you the example. Here we go. We're starting off with Jaws. Alex Kitna, the young boy eaten by the shark. He's the second one to die at the teeth of Bruce. And he dies 17 minutes into the movie. That's right. I had to start with Jaws because Jaws' 50th anniversary is like this week.
First
Or, like,
blockbuster.
last week. Some people say Godfather. And then Jaws.
Summer
it's
blockbuster.
Summer
I think
blockbuster.
it's-
Okay. Yeah. And then 2 years later, we get Star Wars. Big thing. Really starts off the summer blockbuster craze. So then I'm going to we'll start with John. I'm going to give John a movie. I'm going to give him a character, short description. I'm not going to tell him the time, obviously, but he's going to have to guess earlier or later. Does the
And it's
character die earlier
when
or
they
later?
die.
When they die. If it's
Okay.
something weird like they appear as a zombie, I'll say when they first appear as a zombie. If they got bitten earlier, they weren't dead, they were bitten, but when they first then appear as a...
Okay.
It'll all be in that description. You guys understand how the game works? So what
Yep.
I'm looking for from you guys is earlier or later. All right?
So Tommy from Jaws, it's its next character before or after.
Alex Kittner from Jaws died 17 minutes into the movie.
Got it.
So Scream, just to be clear, Scream from 1996.
Correct.
All right. Cassie Becker, played by Drew Barrymore, who
Earlier.
dies because she doesn't know all the trivia. Earlier, you are correct.
Earlier.
She dies 12 minutes into the movie. I thought that was pretty close. 5 minutes between.
But that's like the gotcha thing, because like they sold that movie on Drew Barrymore being in. Like, she's the first person that dies.
Yeah. I knew she was the first person to die. I wasn't sure if somebody would, you'd be like, oh, 17 minutes. That's pretty quick.
Oh, she dies right in the beginning.
Yeah, it's like the second.
But so
scene
does
of the
Alex
movie.
Kidna. Okay. Chris, you just went to Epic Universe.
I did, loved it.
So
You heard
must have
all
learned a
about
lot.
our experiences over on Sister Show over at Parks and Rec. You little scamp.
I am a scamp because I'm letting people plug things today. Dracula, one of the first Universal monsters. His movie.
Dead and
that
loving
came
it.
back- He is dead. And
My
loving it.
favorite Dracula
But we're not
movie.
talking about that movie. We're talking about the 1931 film. Lucy Weston was bitten by Dracula and died.
Okay.
Earlier or later?
And now I'm going back to what John had.
It
With
was
Drew
12
Barrymore.
minutes into the movie.
I'm gonna say later.
That is true. Later. 29 minutes into the movie. Only a good 17 minutes separate the two of them.
So
Right, this
I love the Universal monsters as characters, as properties, and what they did for Universal. I have not watched any of those movies, and we promised like we were gonna sit down and watch them before we went to Epic Universe to be like, all right, let's get our monster fill, and we just didn't. So
I do have one more.
I was basing
Because,
all of
guys-
that off the book.
Yeah, as I kind of left it open. Guys, I have seen all these movies. So be proud of me.
I'm very proud of you, Paul.
Nice.
Which shouldn't be a surprise because
When did you watch Scream?
two Halloweens ago, not this past Halloween, but
Okay.
the Halloween before, Kate and I we watched Scream 1, 2, and 3.
Okay,
Like,
You
hell
watch
yeah.
the new ones?
None of the new ones.
Oh, the
Kate
two
just
new ones
watched-
are pretty good.
Kate just watched the new one. Last time we recorded, she was watching the new one because she's in a summer wing kick right now. Because we watched Friday the 13th.
yeah,
But
summer
Friday,
wing.
but we're not talking about that movie yet. We're going to talk about Practical Magic. Another classic. Jimmy. The abusive Jimmy dies the first time due to an accidental overdose of belladonna. I'm looking for the first time he dies.
He's the rapey ghost, right?
Yes, he does become the rapey ghost later, but right now he's just rapey.
I'm gonna say before that 29 minutes earlier.
It's actually later. He dies
Ooh.
36 minutes into
Ooh,
the
it's
movie.
close.
It was close. Good 7 minutes. Only 7 minutes.
I would have
between-
been right there with you, John.
I mean, it's a movie that I've never seen. I never care to see. I watched
you're-
a few
should
minutes
watch it.
towards the end, and I was like, "This ghost is really rapey. Why does Paul want me to watch it?"
It's a fun movie. It's a great. It's a great aesthetic movie that's fun,
I mean,
a lot of fun.
sequel coming out. We got to get to it. So
You guys promised. I watched 2 movies that are on this list because you guys called me out on your. What's that podcast you guys do? That's right. I'm being a scamp again.
the movie fix. It's on this
Movie
very
Fix.
thread. This RSS feed. I don't. Yeah, feed,
Same
not
feed.
thread. Yeah.
If you subscribe to us here, you'll find us there.
I went back and listened to Chris and I talk about what was the Canadian one with the drenched in blood
Oh
with
yeah.
the wrestler. Oh,
With the wrestler, yeah.
I don't remember. You
couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I
He was the
I
babysitter.
I saw a clip pop up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to watch it again. What would be as good as watching it? So, listening to the two of us talk about it, and I was like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You hear that, listener?
all I
Glowing
needed-
recommendation. You can't watch the movie. Just listen to our podcast. It's just as good. For that movie that we can't remember the name of. Killed by Blood. Blood by Morning.
All right, but the movie that I just watched for the first time on Friday the 13th last week. Friday the 13th, Chris. And yeah, I always thought like, oh, people are just like trying to recreate that sound. No, that's the sound.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. I was like, really? Okay, because like in Jaws, it's no, but it's an orchestra playing that sound.
Yeah.
That sound in Friday the 13th is just somebody going
Here for blood.
Here for Blood. Yeah. That was
Now
a
that
fun
John's
watch.
got that. Friday the 13th. Annie Phillips, the wannabe cook, who's killed after trying to run away from a Jeep. Did she die earlier or later than Jimmy, the
Who's
abusive boyfriend?
like? Was it 36
Okay,
minutes?
36 minutes in.
I don't like Friday the 13th. I really only like the Jason movies when you get to Jason X, when it's like they lead into the dumbness of it. It's like, oh, he's in space now. I will say earlier, though.
You are correct.
Okay.
Annie dies 22 minutes into the movie. Full 14 minutes before Jimmy. John, ready or not? Here we go. Ready or not? Clara, you remember that maid that everybody likes? That got shot by a crossbow?
Oh,
Did she die earlier or later?
22 minutes.
That's 22 minutes in the movie.
I feel like that movie moves at a clip.
Paul, you need
So I
to
feel-
set the table.
Clara is the maid that after she dies, people are like, "Oh, I liked her." She's shot with the crossbow by the like drugged out like daughter of the rich family. I don't remember her name.
Ready or not?
And ready or not? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, John, are you ready or not? Here
Oh,
we go,
I'm
John.
sorry.
Ready or not?
I didn't connect that. Sorry.
I
Clara.
got it, Paul.
I didn't.
thank you.
You said-
I
That's
apologize.
worth an extra point. I'm giving it to you, John. Extra point.
I got it.
How does it feel,
I knew
Chris?
exactly.
No, okay. I knew
My
where
thing-
Paul was getting at, but I was like, oh, he didn't set it up for like the movie though.
Man, because that movie moves at a clip, and but it does have a long opening thing before everything starts. So that I'm gonna say after 22 minutes.
You are correct. Only 8 minutes though separates the two. At the 30-minute mark, Clara gets shot with a crossbow by.
It feels later because that feels kind of like the moment of like brevity, like because it's like
It's actually
a
the
funny
second maid.
a funny
It's the
kill.
second maid.
The second maid that dies.
Yeah.
The second maid that dies, because the first one she just shoots with a gun
Yeah.
in the kids' room.
But yeah, it is kind of funny. It is a moment of brevity. I do agree, Chris. But all right, here we go. Chris, you just went to Epic Universe. Someone said
Yeah.
it's tech-
You can hear all about it. Wait, I already did that. Okay.
Frankenstein, 1931. Maria, the young girl that gets tossed into the lake by the monster. Oh, she doesn't float like those flowers, though.
Later,
She
because that's
died.
like at the end of the movie.
It is later. I thought, for whatever reason, when I was thinking of, because I tried to think about the movie and like a famous death scene that happens within the movie, and I thought
Well,
that happened at the beginning.
That's
when
the one
monster
that
first got out.
matters in the movie. Yeah.
You gotta, like, you have the whole thing of them getting to making the monster, him escaping, and then that happens.
So that happens 50 minutes. That's a full 20 minutes afterwards.
So,
But
fun
for whatever
fact
reason, I thought,
for Paul, when you do eventually get to go to Epic Universe, and you're not dodging the spoilers, when you are walking into Darkmoor, you enter the portal, and then you're going through a cemetery before you reach the town. There is a statue in the cemetery on like the town limits for the girl.
Rhea. That's her name. John, one of our favorite zombie movies, Shaun of the Dead. David, who is not totally in love with this, gets torn apart by zombies. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm not saying the Z word.
I'm going to say the Z word. Dies earlier or later than 50 minutes into the movie.
Later.
So confident. And you are correct. It's another good... That's actually 32 minutes later into the movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's towards the end of the
Towards the
movie.
end. But I'm like... But Shaun of the Dead's like a shorter movie. It's
That's-
like, how long is that movie?
That's what threw me off because that movie moves like so quick that I was like, if it's later in the movie as like a production, but is it earlier because like that movie just goes? So yeah, that
Well,
would have
they're-
tripped me up.
They're already at the Winchester, and it's right before the climax, so it is like right at the end.
Yeah, that is true. That is
Yeah.
true. So an hour, 22 minutes. That's where we're standing right now, guys. Chris, this comes to you with Happy Death Day.
Oh,
Love it. We
John-
heard about that over on Movie Fix. And again on the
he's
Movie
gonna say-
Fix.
He's going
And
to say the
again
main
on the
character's
Movie
death,
Fix.
and you're not going to know who it is.
Yeah, right.
No,
Everyone
because
dies in that movie multiple times.
In my description, I have to tell you. Well, this character, we only see die once, I believe. I might have gotten that wrong. But John Toombs, a serial killer, but not the killer you're looking for, gets shot 3 times in the chest by a tree at this moment.
Okay, so
At that moment. Is it earlier or later?
I'll go earlier because the last kill was like 122 minutes. So I don't think
Hour 22.
hour 22. Yeah. So I don't think this movie is even that long. So I'll go earlier
You are correct. And this was our shortest time frame.
because that's the guy in the hospital, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
serial killer that she thinks is the actual killer that escapes and gets out. An hour and 19 minutes separates these two. A 3-minute separation.
Okay, that's
I
not as
thought-
big as I thought. Again, like,
Yeah.
like that movie moves at a
It's-
clip because like
yeah.
they set the tone, you see the things happen, and like you just accept it. But all that stuff takes time to set up and revisit and tell again. So yeah, I thought that was later. Not later, but like later on in the movie, but earlier for retelling.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a tricky one because it could go either way because it does happen towards the far end of the movie.
Yeah, because I knew
So-
David happened near the far end, so I needed to come up with another kill that happened at the far end. So then, Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
Okay, and then your point, John, which is completely valid. Like, she just keeps on dying, so I didn't want to pick her as the death.
But that also could have been like really cool. It's like, oh, it's 5 minutes in.
The time she gets electrocuted.
Yeah. I didn't think that was fair. So that's why I went with John Toombs because he was I think he was only listed the one time as
Yeah.
serial killer because it's near the climax of the movie. But we're going to go back to the 1990s because after Kate and I watched all the Scream movies, then we watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997 film. Barry Cox, the character
Another Chris favorite.
Because yeah, that makes sense. Barry Cox is the character, but he's played by Ryan Felipe, and he's stabbed 5 times with a hook. Does Ryan Felipe's character survive till the end of the movie, or does he die earlier or later, or earlier or later than John Toombs? Ryan Felipe's character,
An
Brian Cox,
hour and 17 minutes.
an hour and 19 minutes into the movie from Happy Death Day. So you're earlier or later for Brian Cox from I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997, played by Ryan Felipe.
I'm going to say earlier.
He does die earlier by 6 minutes, an hour and 12 minutes into the movie. He is one of the last kills, other than the people that are actually related to the killer.
He's the one they think might be it. He's killed, and then it's like the two of them running away from the killer to finally defeat him. So yeah.
All right. Kate actually helped me find this one because I'm like, I think that's all the horror movies I've ever seen. I don't know anymore. She's like, how about Cabin in the Woods? And I'm like,
Oh,
yes.
love that movie. We literally just rewatched that like 3 days ago because Yanni's sister had never seen it. So we ordered pizza and sat down and watched that. Love it. Fantastic movie.
We were going through some movies, and I'm like, okay, but there's not any memorable kills or any memorable characters. Like we were talking about the first Final Destination, and I'm like, oh, the log scene. But nobody actually dies because they pull off before it actually happens. There's so much of that. So I was like, oh, okay. So
It's Paul. Silver Bullet, and the werewolf kills the redneck with the baseball bat.
good one with
That was your favorite part of that movie, Paul.
good.
That Wolfman hand coming out of the fog with the baseball bat and then killing that dude. He loved it.
So good. But Cabin in the Woods, I could have won. I should have won with it. But I don't. But also, all these timestamps except for Practical Magic, which I had to timestamp myself, came from
because he was already rewatching it, so he just had to look and be like,
Dead
"Oh yeah."
What was the website called? It was like Dead Meat Wagon Wiki.com. Like Dead Meat Wiki. But okay, Cabin in the Woods, Chris. Kurt Vaughn, who's played by Chris Hemsworth. Sorry, got my Chris's confused. Did his best Evel Knievel motor jump, unfortunately, right into a force field. Does he die earlier or later than Brian Cox in an hour and 12 minutes in?
I will say earlier because I think there's some fake outs in that movie, but he's like the second actual death in that movie.
You are correct. It is earlier at 59 minutes, so only 13 minutes separating. But yeah, he is basically, heck, we're getting out of here. I can make that jump. And then all hell breaks loose from then on. And then
It's such a good movie. Like, it's one of those movies that you tell people, like, oh, this is a good movie. And then when you go back to it, you're like, yeah, this is a good movie. Like, everything about that movie.
The Dead Meat Wiki on fandom, whatever. So deadmeat.fandom.com.
Dead Meat's also a YouTube channel that does like horror movie breakdowns where they do like deep dives into like the killers and like kill counts, and like they go over like how many people die.
That's what I'm looking at right now. It's the kill count.
It's a really fun YouTube channel. So if you're a horror movie fan, appropriate, like doing horror movie trivia, like if you have not watched anything on Dead Meat, like go for it. Like it's a YouTube channel that celebrates the kills of your favorite horror movie. So yeah, love it.
Yeah, and Kurt is the second death in that movie. Jules is the first.
I used IMDb quotes, and I had to scroll through for all the Ashley Tisdale ones, like the entire movie for Ash versus the Evil Dead is in there as quotes.
He's so quotable. He's so likable. Much like my next beer from Southern Tier, and this was the Citra Fog Hazy IPA. And this is a little bit bigger boy. This was like 6-something%. I'm trying to find it on the can. A little bit more full-bodied than the Lakeshore Fog. And they're both hazy IPAs, but like the Lakeshore Fog just delivers more of like a big, dark stone fruit citrus pop to it that's a favorite. Like, this was good. Like, this is a great hazy borderline session because I can't find the ABV on here. I really do feel like it was 6 something. So yeah, it's fine. It's passable. It's good, but that Lakeshore Fog, like, really just, it hit me in a way where it was like, wow, like, this beer shouldn't be that good coming out of a variety pack.
I believe Citra Fog replaced Lakeshore Fog.
Shouldn't have changed it up. Lakeshore Fog's better. That's the one to go to. So if you find this 15-pack on your beer shelf, there's one more that I didn't talk about. Or no, 2 more, because there's just like the regular IPA from Southern Tier, which I drank one of them. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't remember what the 5th beer was, though. Because I had one of them just when I cracked the pack, and I was like, okay, that was a beer to drink. But I wanted to talk about the 3 that I hadn't had before. So it might just be like their Imperial IPA. I don't know. But I won't be having it because, we're wrapping up. We only got one more section to get through. Anyone else have any beer they want to talk about or can't talk about because they don't want to or whatever?
Hey, Burner. John, I will agree. It's not bitter. But it does deliver a lot more flavor than the Midwest did. Midwest comes off more juicy. So I do agree.
I would definitely say that Hey Burner is better than Midwest, but Midwest is supposed to be that middle of the road between West and East Coast kind of a thing, and it's what they're going for. And they're considered the Midwest, so they call themselves that. And American IPA is basically the same thing, but I think American IPAs usually lean closer to that
West
East Coast.
Yeah, okay. I'm not getting big juicy because I've been through a lot of beers and a lot of trivia. I'm not getting big juicy notes though. I'm not getting citrusy notes. I'm getting more rind, I guess, which is still citrus, but definitely more rind than what I was getting from the Midwest. But I'm enjoying. I like the rind. So there we go.
Yeah, I like that pithiness more in my IPAs. And I did get up and go to my fridge to double check. So yeah, they do have the IPA in the pack, and then they also have the 2X IPA. So both decent, solid beers. I did grab just another IPA to wrap it up. It stands out amongst the other beers in the sampler pack because it's more of like your just go-to IPA. It's not a session. It's not a hazy. It's not a juicy. It's just like an IPA. So that kind of grassy, more bitter hops really do stand out amongst everything else that you're already drinking. Because when you go to the 2X, it's a much bigger, bolder, sweeter flavor. So having just like the regular IPA after like the juicy, the session, the hazy, it does have more of like a pop to it because it's like, yeah, this is just a bare bones IPA, and it might not be your favorite, but it's there.
I do like it. I'm never upset with that. I'm not upset with that 15-pack when I picked it up. I'm like, this is a good variety. This is good. Giano, is that a Bush Peach?
Oh, this is the new Bush Lime.
Ooh.
Lime?
After finishing 2 IPAs and a lager, and we're still going here. It's only 11 o'clock at night. We got another whole segment to go. Yeah, crack
This is
it
a Christmas
open.
segment. It's going to be action-packed.
It's
gonna
guys,
be-
it's gonna be quick because Paul's not a horror movie guy. I made it accessible. What? Stop building it up.
I am a huge Bush apple. I do really enjoy Bush peach. Bush lime is okay. It actually has a pretty good liminess to it, followed up by kind of a blah beer. Where I think the apple really overshadows the blah beer, and the peach did as well. Lime can't. I even tried doing a little beer cocktail with this, and I did a shot of bourbon into it. It still like needed something, and
Tequila.
it wasn't like. See, I was thinking rum.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like a nice dark rum.
yeah rum
to
with
go
the
to.
lime.
But I feel like it still needs like a little ginger. What was Paul? What was that syrup that you had? Wasn't it like a ginger syrup that you?
I do have a ginger syrup. Yeah,
What was the one you used the last of it on the cocktails we drank?
the
and then
the honey ginger syrup for that
Honey
we make
ginger
the honey ginger which we make penicillins with.
Yeah, honey
That would
ginger. I think with rum with this would be like perfect.
You're making almost like a dark and stormy
Yeah,
kind of thing,
basically.
Okay. Yeah. Or a mule, but not a Moscow mule because it got rum in it.
Yeah.
Ooh, but a dark rum. Yeah, a dark and stormy at that point. Yeah, be pretty
it's good. I won't. The lime is really. It's a really nice lime to it. But I haven't had a Labatt lime or a Bud lime, so I can't compare those. Most of the lime lagers I have are craft ones that I think usually stand above this. But at $12.99 for a 12-pack to have or the summer whenever you want, pretty good. Listener Paul came over with a couple other friends. We had some limes and we had some apples and we had some other beers that other people brought. But yeah, good time.
Nice.
And also, we didn't see it. Paul did put up Here for Blood when we couldn't come up with that title on the Twitch.
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for feeding us the information. We always appreciate it. All right.
Now,
Paul,
if you could feed me the answers because Chris's quiz is going to be so difficult,
it's
so mind bending.
it is
so-
I'm going to need.
So
it's
many questions.
so accessible, and it's 11 questions. And I started off slow because I want to get you guys acclimated, and I figured what better way than to start with something a little bit easier. So, guys,
Did we ever put up that post on Instagram about who would die first in a horror movie?
oh, we didn't. We can do that for tomorrow when I get all this stuff edited and posted down.
Okay, that'd be cool. Because I kind of wanted to include that in my quiz, but then I forgot about it myself. So.
It's okay. I forgot about it too until you just brought that up. But yeah, I'll post that tomorrow for episode posting because I have to edit all this down tomorrow morning after I take Yanni to work. But guys, my section is called "Did It Make a Killing?" And we love movies, and dare I say, some of us love horror movies, or some of us might love some horror movies. So I am going to give you guys a director, and it's up to you to tell me, did their top grossing horror movie make more than their top grossing non-horror movie?
And today, adjusted for inflation?
There is no inflation here. This is just straight box office. So
Because Spielberg... I
pop.
think Jaws-
Don't dig into anything yet. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a
Cool your jets,
director,
dude.
and you have to we'll talk through it. Tell me.
so we're a team?
No,
John and I are a
we're
team?
we're gonna alternate for this one. I'll give you a director. You need to tell me if their top grossing horror movie beat their top grossing non-horror movie. And there are bonus points on the table here. If you can name what you think their top grossing non-horror or top grossing horror movie are, we'll get you points. So you will get a point if you just say like, oh, their horror movie grossed more than their non-horror movie. But if you can say like, oh, their horror movie this made more than this, you can get 3 points there.
John, you hear that? Chris came up with a quiz that it's only 11 questions, but really it's 33 questions.
One question, you can score 3 points on it. And
Let's go.
and we'll go because I'm going to start it off with Paul because again,
Okay.
I'm nothing if not benevolent when it comes to my trivia. Paul,
Annie Ortega made more money with Hocus Pocus than any of his other movies.
did it make a killing? Paul, your director is Peter Jackson, renowned horror movie director that got his big break. Did his horror movies make more than his non-horror movies? And can you tell me what you think made more?
I'm thinking Lord of the Rings made more. I'm going to guess Return of the King made the most. So Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. And his most successful horror movie, what was it? It's not Meet the Fraggles.
It would not be Meet the Fraggles.
Right. But it was but they were kind of puppet things. But John's trying to tell me it's Dead or Alive made more money, but I don't know that movie either. So
You watched it, movie. You almost threw up during.
Oh yeah, because that's a lawnmower one, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't the lawnmower that did it. It was the little puppet kid that
Oh.
did it.
That was gross.
So, Paul, you are correct. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King did make more than his top-grossing horror movie, which was actually, if you break it down, The Frighteners was his top-grossing horror movie. Lord of the Rings, Return of the Kings made $381 million. The Frighteners, his top-grossing horror movie, made 16, which is surprising because that was the first Peter Jackson movie that I heard that was like, oh, that's the movie. Oh, I like this movie. And I was like, Peter Jackson, eh? Dead Alive, probably what he's most known for, but did not make as much money as The Frighteners. So, based off of that, you guys get the framing reference for this game. Because, John, we're going to jump over to you now.
But Paul got 2 points.
So, Paul got 2 points out of a possible 3 for naming...
Glad I went with the right movie out of the right trick.
Naming non-horror movie made more than the horror, but then naming the movie that made more than the horror. John, to you. We'll call him the grandfather of horror. John Carpenter. Did his top-grossing horror movie make more than his top-grossing non-horror movie?
Ooh, man. So, I'm going to say no. His non-grossing horror movie is going to make more. Or his non-horror movie is going to make more.
Okay.
I'm going to say Memoirs of the Invisible Man and The Thing.
John, you are wrong. On all counts.
Damn!
His top-grossing horror movie is actually Halloween. Again,
Man.
but
He's got so many.
he has so
I was
many,
thinking
but
Christine, too.
it's also shocking that Halloween only made $70 million on release. And his top-grossing non-horror movie is actually Escape from L.A., Snake Plissken, which is weird, which made $42 million. And that's just wild to me that, like, Halloween, the movie that birthed an entire horror franchise, made 70, and his top-grossing non-horror movie did like half as much.
Yeah. But that was like, I mean, that
Also,
Halloween created the
cost.
slasher film.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, he made that movie for nothing.
But
He
we're
made
coming.
70 million on an investment of $10.
Yeah, it's all up from there. Paul, coming over to you now.
Here we go.
We're coming
Question
with a director who's known for their horror movie entries, and then moved off into other stuff with James Wan.
on. Okay. So the director of Saw, but also directed Aquaman. He also directed a Fast and Furious. I'm going to go with the Fast and Furious. Ooh, which one did he direct? It's the top grossing. And his top grossing horror movie. Did he do anything other than the Saw? Did he do any of the other Saw movies? I know he did Saw 1. Did he do Saw 2? Or did he move on? I'm going to go with his top grossing. I'm going to say Fast and Furious 5. I don't know which one it was. Was his top
Fast
grossing
5.
Fast 5 was his top grossing non-horror movie. It made more than any of his horror movies, and that Saw 3 is his top grossing horror.
So,
Forgot about The Conjuring. Oh.
Paul, you do
I
get
couldn't forget about it if I don't know it.
Paul, you do get a point.
Can't forget something I don't know, John. I'm sorry, what's that, Chris?
James Wan top grossing movie is not a horror movie, so you get a point. It was actually Furious 7, which earned $1.5 billion. I no spoilers for the rest of the game, but that will be the top grossing movie of everything else that is coming on. But also, John, you did throw it out there. His top grossing horror movie was actually The Conjuring. So Conjuring 1, adjectiveless, whatever, with $322 million. Family always wins. The chat knows it. Paul, you also know it. So, Paul, you do get a point for that.
I'm just happy that I knew that he directed that Fast and Furious movie, and he was also the creator/director of the Saw movies.
Paul, I also would have given you a point if you had said, oh, his top grossing is not a horror movie with Aquaman, because that was his number 2. Which is weird that Aquaman also grossed enough to be like, oh shit, pay attention to this. And that franchise like completely died 4 years later.
The reason I knew that James Wan did the Saw movies is because the producer that like basically greenlit all those kind of movies came over and then was running DC at that time. The movie, and that's when James Wan came on to direct the Aquaman movie. It was so weird.
Yeah.
And then
because
now James.
I also would have thought like Insidious and Conjuring, but I knew Conjuring because of the movie brackets was a big movie. But
Yeah.
I mean, really, that Fast 7 was gonna like. And again, Paul, you said Fast 5. I was like, yeah, Fast 5. That sounds like the right number.
I knew it was a big movie for the Fast franchise, so that's why I went with it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good, Chris.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's Paul. That was a good pick. John, we're heading back over to you now with Wes Craven. While we can look at John Carpenter as being the grandfather of modern horror, I think Wes Craven's the daddy of current horror.
He's the Freddy Krueger guy, right?
So, did Wes Craven put out a movie, his top grossing horror, make more than his top grossing non-horror?
I know his non-horror are like super unassuming. You're like, whoa, what? Wes Craven did that movie? I'm going to say his horror did more because it's gonna be one of the Screams. And I know Nightmare on Elm Street did a lot because it changed it, but he didn't really go back to that till the New Nightmare or whatever, the one where it basically is like the prototype for Scream, where it's like Freddy Krueger actually comes into the real world and the actors who are in the first movie are fighting him. But I think it's going to be one of the Screams because those were huge. And you know what? I can't tell you a non-horror movie that he made that I can think of off the top of my head. I know there are a couple, and one of them you're like, what? He made that? But it's going to be my guess.
Do you have a Scream movie that you think was his highest grossing?
Scream 2.
Okay. John, you do get a point because his top grossing horror movie did make more than his top non-grossing horror movie, which was the first Scream with $173 million, beating his top grossing non-horror movie, which I didn't even realize he did non-horror movies until I started researching this, because his top grossing non-horror movie is Music of the Heart. Don't know it. It made $20 million, probably from people that were like, oh, it's Wes Craven. He did Scream. John,
Yeah, this is a movie where somebody loses their heart.
John, you get a point for that one. We're jumping back over to Paul now. Paul.
Question 5, guys. Question 5.
Director, you do know.
Ooh, good.
You've seen some of his...
I don't know. Oh, I thought his name was You Do Know. Sorry.
Yeah. Paul's really into like the deep cuts of horror directors. So he does know You Do Know. Do you know You Do Know?
He's a Norwegian. He's Norwegian. He really enjoys making his audience unsettled.
Paul, your director, Sam Raimi, does his top grossing horror movie
No.
beat his top grossing non-horror movie? And can you name either one of them?
Okay, his top grossing non-horror movie. Ooh. Did Spider-Man 3 beat out Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Multiverse of Madness was coming down at the... I'm going to say Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is his top grossing movie. I'm going to say that his top grossing horror movie, which made less,
Ooh.
is Drag Me to Hell.
I would say Spider-Man 1 made the most,
But not
non-horror.
not adjusted for inflation.
I think it still is like big time.
So
We'll
Paul...
see. Chris will let us know.
Paul nailed all three. His top grossing movie.
Whoa!
Yeah. This was going to be the gotcha question for Paul, who I set up at the beginning. His top grossing movie is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
You need to go wake up your wife. You need to go wake up your wife and be like, I deserve sex right now. I am the man.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, a non-horror movie that was originally sold to us as a horror movie when Scott Derrickson was doing it, grossed $955 million, which retrospectively looking at that movie is like, it made that much because it's middle tier Marvel. But that beat his top grossing horror movie. And we look at Sam Raimi as like the Evil Dead, the Army of Darkness guy. Drag Me to Hell is his top grossing movie, and it only made $90 million at the box office.
A movie I've seen.
It's not good. But hey, Paul saw it. So Paul, surprising me on that one. Great job, bud.
Wow, Paul, you deserve a round of applause.
He picked all three on that one. Amazing.
That was great. Because I would consider like Multiverse has a lot of horror elements that I would kind of put that in a horror.
It's a superhero movie, though, first and foremost.
Yeah,
Then
he's a
with more.
zombie with a bunch of zombie arms.
That's true.
But see, I feel like that part is probably a carryover from what was supposed to be the horror superhero movie that we were originally told like we were going to get. Like they had already done like the visual design, so they're like, can you work in a zombie Doctor Strange? And then Sam Raimi was like, yeah, I'm Sam Raimi. Yeah, I got that. I was gonna do that anyways.
I worked that in, and also a car.
my car, John.
I worked, and also, Ash from Evil Dead showing up too. He's fine. He's gonna sell pizza.
Talking about
not
pizza.
in slices.
I would eat whatever they call, like pizza pod, pizza bubble,
balls,
whatever it was.
Balls.
John, your director, Eli Roth. Yes, he has done a non-horror movie, which was a surprise to me when I was researching this.
Borderlands.
I didn't think about Borderlands because I was thinking
Borderlands.
He did. I was thinking the Bruce Willis Death Wish. Or also he did Songs of the Heart, a musical adaptation. I'm gonna say Hostel. Oh, not Cabin in the Woods, but the other Cabin Fever was a big one for him too. I'm gonna say his horror did more than his non-horror. Cabin in the Woods and Death Wish.
I thought you had it. I had to take a point away. His non-horror movie actually did more than his top-grossing horror movie, because his top-grossing horror movie was Hostel with $47 million. And I think we saw that together in the movie theaters. And I think we saw Hostel too as well. But surprisingly, his non-horror movie, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, starring Jack Black.
Oh my gosh!
He did that movie.
Beckinsale.
68.
Beckinsale in that too?
Yeah, $68 million. That's his top grossing movie. And
I remember seeing that movie because it's based off of a book series, but I did not connect Eli Roth to that.
No,
It's
that's
like
the
him
thing.
saying like he did the Goosebumps movie.
That's the thing, like, because Eli Roth, like, I hear his name, I think, like, oh, that's torture porn, gross horror guy, and like his top grossing movie is like a family adaptation of a kid's book, and it's not like a big spread from Hostel at 47 to House with a Clock in Its Walls to 68, but that's still surprising. That also someone watched all of his horror stuff is like, let's give this kid's adaptation to Eli Roth.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, great job on this. You did a great job. You really nailed them. You nailed a bunch of them.
I thought that we're still going.
We're still going. Because Paul,
this is only question 7.
Oh, I really have to say, kudos. You've been really, really good with these.
This is great because we're only halfway through. So from now on, I could face plant.
yeah, all things are possible.
You still will be like, Paul got like this one. He got Wong. He got.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I do feel like
you're doing great.
I feel like Chris is like going in an order that I would kind of be more likely to get.
No,
hopefully that continues.
I wrote all of these down on one sheet of paper, and I was like, "Oh, this is hard for me to like read through on one sheet. Let me space it out to 2, and then I'm just going down through it." Like the first one was the only one that I was like, "This is for Paul," also to set the tone for the game.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And the problem is, on a lot of these, you overthink.
Oh yeah, I have no thinking. No, I don't have enough vast data to overthink it because I only got the one set.
That's also
I'm only going
What-
to get the top grossing of each of
I'm
these
so-
guys.
I'm sorry,
because-
Paul.
I mean, that's why Chris got so many wrong during mine. He overthought, was it Ash or Ashley?
Paul,
Yeah.
was your vast data joke also a vast deference joke with reference to your
Vasectomy?
vasectomy?
No.
With like, oh, I don't have as much to go through. Okay, I thought it was. I thought that's where you were going with that.
No,
Paul,
no.
we're going back to you now with someone who's known for horror, Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay. I have to say, his horror. I'm gonna go with The Birds being his top grossing. I don't know what his non-horror movie would be. What? Oh, is Rear Window a non-horror? I'm just going to say another Hitchcock movie that I know. Rear Window is his top non-horror movie. It might be a horror. It's suspense. I'm going to put that there. So there it is. It's no. Well, yes, he is killing it. The Birds is his top. Is a horror movie. It's his top grossing. His most non-horror movie is Rear Window.
And that's tough because do you like thriller versus horror? Like, where does, especially with him, where does that go? Because even like you said, like
South by Southwest. That's Hitchcock, right?
That is.
And that's a spy thriller. I'm going to change it into the Rear Window, South by Southwest.
Okay.
what about The Man That Knew Too Little?
That's
The Bill Murray movie?
That's not Alfred Hitchcock.
I like that movie.
But it's really I think it stands up. It's a good movie.
It's not bad.
But it's a take on The
It's
Man
not
Who
bad.
Knew Too Much.
Oh, and is that Alfred Hitchcock?
Uh,
Okay, I locked in my answers now.
yeah,
Okay,
Paul,
The Birds,
so-
top grossing horror. Horror is his top grossing, and then South by Southwest is his top grossing non-horror.
Paul, you are close. His top grossing is a horror movie, but it's actually Psycho with $32 million. His top grossing non-horror movie is actually Notorious, which is like a World War II spy thriller movie with $24 million. So, $8 million.
Psycho, really?
You gotta think-
I thought
You
his
gotta think,
fame would have
too,
grown from
movies
Psycho
cost a
on.
nickel. They cost a
Yeah.
nickel to go see those movies.
So that's the thing. Like $8 million might sound not like a big amount, but for like 1950s money, like that's crazy. We're jumping.
1950s, we started getting televisions in the home, so there was competition. It wasn't like this is the only way you
We're
get to see movies.
we're jumping over to John now with Kevin Smith, fan favorite director. He's done a lot of non-horror movies, but he's also dabbled into horror. So, John, do you think Kevin Smith nailed it with his horror that it made more than his top-grossing non-horror movie?
So Tusk, 'cause I don't consider Red State horror movie.
I would agree with that because I've seen Red State.
Tusk, I would say, is probably his horror movie.
Not the stripper clown one that you made me watch.
That was a
That wasn't by him.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's by one of his friends,
That
Brian
was,
Anderson.
yeah.
I have his autograph.
Brian Anderson or
Don't-
Kevin
it-
Smith?
No, isn't it Brian Anderson, the guy that plays like
Nope.
who's the lead in
That's
Clerks?
Brian Christopher O'Halloran, who
Okay,
played
that's
Dante.
who I have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have Dante's signature. Sorry.
he wasn't even supposed
He,
to be
he
there
signed.
today.
He signed your Canisius card, right?
Yep, my Canisius College card.
My Green Arrow quiver is autographed by Kevin Smith, as well as my Daredevil target, also autographed by him. And so I'm gonna say Tusk is his horror movie. And man, what did the best for him?
Jersey Girl.
Oh no, that got ruined by the Bradgelina.
Yeah, there's a
Also, I forgot about.
lot of blowback there.
I did forget about
talk-
Jersey Girl.
talk through
Jersey
it.
Girl could.
Talk through it. I'm gonna take a hall pass while you're talking to Paul about it. So
right.
you have an extra like 30 seconds to
Do you think
discuss.
Dogma did this best? It's my favorite, and it's coming out with a re-release because he finally has the rights
Right
to it
back
again.
to it. My Dogma, which is sitting right here, is an autographed copy as well. I have a lot of Kevin Smith autograph stuff because I also have Mallrats autographed by him. Because you could order them from his website
Oh, okay.
and get
I'm
his
like,
autograph.
how many times have you seen Kevin Smith out? Do you just run into him down the hallways?
He was at a comic convention twice. So the time that you had your gallbladder out and didn't go to comic book conventions, you missed it there. And then another convention I think we went to, he was there. Because I wouldn't have asked for 2 autographs at the same time. Paul, you're jacking me up on this.
okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Clerks 2. Jay and Silent Bob did really well too. I'm gonna say non-horror made more money. I'm gonna say Tusk is his non-horror. Jay and Silent Bob is his non-horror.
So out of 3 points, you get 2 because his
nicely done.
top grossing horror movie is Tusk with $1.4 million. So not a lot, but he dabbled. Red State would have been the other one that was technically considered horror, but Tusk did do more. His non-horror movie made more, but it was actually Cop Out.
I was gonna say I just remembered Cop Out. I was gonna
Which is surprising because nobody remembers Cop Out, which
Bruce
also
Willis and
Tracy Morgan.
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Yeah, Tracy
Which,
Morgan.
from what I've been able to gather just from hearing like interviews and news bites of everything, is like nobody had a good time making that movie, but they still made it, and that to this day stands as his like top grossing movie, which is depressing when he built his career on these characters. And Jay and Silent Bob wasn't the top grossing. It was just this random movie with Bruce Willis. But going over to Paul now.
All right.
Paul, you have Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go with is Shape of Water a horror movie? It's a monster movie. I'm gonna say Shape of Water is not a horror movie. It's a monster. It's kind of a monster movie. It's what he's most known for. He won an Oscar. That's his top grossing movie. So non-monster, non-horror. And then I'm going to say his top horror movie. Because Pan's Labyrinth isn't like a horror movie either.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that's his. I'm going to put that as horror. It's more dark fantasy. I'm going to put Pan's Labyrinth as his top grossing horror movie.
Okay.
So
That
there
Devil's
we go.
Backbone. You made us watch that, Paul.
Yeah, but that was independent.
You were a Guillermo
And that-
del Toro fan before it was fun to be a
Yes.
Guillermo del Toro fan.
Yes, and that's a good movie. It's a good. And that's
Is it
more-
good because you didn't like it?
But he made us watch it.
But
I
he
do
didn't like it.
It reminds me of like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps kind of vibes. Like that's where
Okay.
it lives.
Paul
I can
gets
handle that more.
no points this round because his top grossing movie is actually a non-horror movie with Pacific Rim.
Wait,
Which
didn't I say non-horror one? So non-horror, and then I went with because I said Shape of Water is not horror,
yeah, and then you went over to Devil's Backbone.
and then no, I didn't.
Oh,
go
I threw
Devil's
Devil's
Backbone.
Back.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
sorry.
went. Oh, so non-horror, Shape of
Okay.
Water, most successful. Then I went Pan's Labyrinth as his horror movie,
Okay.
which made less.
Okay, so Paul, you will get 1 point because
Okay.
Pacific Rim is a non-horror movie because it's more action. With 100 million, his top-grossing horror movie though is actually Crimson Peak.
Oh yeah.
Ghost
that's
Story
the
with
least.
31 million, which was okay, but the surprise for me was like when you
This
look
place in
up,
Buffalo.
when you think of Guillermo del Toro, like you think, oh, Devil's Backbone is the movie that put him on the map, but that's not anywhere close. And technically, I did think it was going to be Shape of Water, but that's considered like drama suspense. Because yeah, it's a monster movie, but there's no actual like horror
There's no
to it.
elements. Yeah.
So, Paul, retroactively, just because of my listening skills, you do get 1 point for a non-horror movie. But yeah, Pacific Rim, because I forgot that movie was directed by Guillermo del Toro, and it was awesome. And I bought that movie on Blu-ray.
He also like is like been attached to so many things. Like he was supposed to do the Halo movie. He was supposed to do this movie. He's still like
a new Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
he also like again was like, hey, James Gunn, if you want a Justice League Dark, I'd love to make it. Like still pushing for that. It's been like 10 years that he's been trying to get a Justice League Dark movie going.
Probably 15.
I feel like I was still working at like the McKinley store when he first got that listed, and that was almost 10 years ago.
John, you're number 10 question. Because that's right. There's still 2 more questions.
3, technically, because there was 11. John, you have Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, known for his adaptations on Netflix with House on Haunting Hill, House of Bly Manor.
His brother's dog is super fast too.
That's not something that would qualify for a point.
We just talked about Kevin Smith.
Minus points because that's Walt Flanagan's dog.
Yeah. Mike Flanagan's brother.
Oh, okay.
Walt Flanagan.
Just gonna say something really random next time you bring it to me and be like, yeah.
So I think that his horror movie is Ouija 2. But I'm going to say that his non-horror is the better movie, but I can't name what it is. But I know he's done tons of non-horror.
Can you tell me something about one of his non-horror movies that you think would put it?
Nope.
I'm glad you got this question, John, because Mike Flanagan sounds like a made-up name to me.
It does. John, you'll get 2 points because his horror does place higher. And you get a second point because, yes, Ouija is his top-grossing horror movie with $35 million. His other top-grossing non-horror movie was The Life of Chuck at $6 million. And this is one of those situations that's like...
It just came out.
I did know he did another movie that wasn't horror, but for for this game, yeah, it might have just come out this June, but it's his top grossing, but still $6 million. I don't think it's going to go higher
That's
than
crazy.
that, though.
Tom Hiddleston stars in that.
Hey,
It's
Jump
just
into-
Steven. What's the horror guy's name? Steven. Did the you know the horror writer, always drunk, Northeast.
Stephen
King?
King?
Stephen King.
I like how you said drunk and not like coked up, but yeah.
He wrote Life with Chuck. Okay, I'm ready.
Coming to Paul. Paul,
Left
your
one. Here we
director.
go.
We're jumping back into the 80s for this, so
Okay,
I
here we go.
don't want to give you any hints, but it's Joe Dante.
Okay,
Mm.
sure. I'm gonna say his horror movies have made more money, and his some horror movies whereas Killing It, and his non-horror movie was Joe versus the Vault. It was Dante's Peak.
Goonies.
Sure.
Don't listen
Okay,
to
John. It's fine.
This was kind of a gimme question because both of his top grossing movies are technically horror movies, even though one of them is considered not to be a horror movie. Because Joe Dante did Gremlins,
Oh. Okay.
which you could consider a horror movie, even though it's not, because it's considered like a family adventure movie, but it's still very horror. One of the first PG-13 movies, but his also top grossing
Shawshank Redemption.
Twilight Zone. He did the original Twilight Zone movie. Gremlins earned $151 million. Twilight Zone earned $29 million. So it's one of those, like, how do you look at Gremlins? Is it a horror movie or is it not? It's not, but it is, kind of thing.
It is.
So Paul gets one
Oh, thank you.
one point for that. Because it's a weird, nebulous area to exist in for that. But we'll go over to John for our final option. John, you have John Krasinski.
Ooh. So
Frank
it's between-
Darabont. That's. I was thinking, he directed Shawshank.
And
So,
Walking
hey.
Dead.
So-
I'm gonna say horror is his. He made more money, and that's the silent movie. You can't
The
talk.
Quiet Place.
Quiet Place.
Silent
Thank
movie.
you, Paul.
You can't talk. If you talk during it, they shoot you.
And do you think If?
I think If made less money.
Less money, yeah. I think that's 3 points for John right there.
It is, but it's because Paul gave them to you. Because yes,
I knew all of those.
You knew him. He just
Did you?
couldn't-
But Paul
No, he-
said it. Because yes, A Quiet Place made $188 million. But also surprising, if it did not move
Not do
forward
well.
in the summer blockbuster bracketbuster from last year, but it still made $111 million. So
But I think it probably
is
cost a lot
that's
to make,
worldwide, though, right?
no, this is just
Two?
domestic.
That's domestic. Wow.
So going through it as we're listening, Paul 2, John 0, Paul 1, John 1, Paul 3. So Paul's at 6, John's at 1. Paul gets another
Paul ran
one.
away with it.
Yeah, Paul gets this one. Yeah. But yeah,
Johnny
did it
got
make
3 at the end, though. It became a game.
because of Paul? After
Nope.
Paul,
Just because of the director. It was a name I heard of, or it's a name I remembered.
but yeah, that was my
I like that
accessible
Paul
horror
Even
movie.
keep score during Chris and I against each other.
Actually, I think you guys didn't miss a single one. So Oh wait, no, John, did you miss one?
The power of
one.
friendship wins is what Paul was saying.
Yeah. It was all tied up at Fun to Fun. So you guys are the best of friends, very best of friends.
But yeah,
We've never taken score into consideration because also
We
I
could
did,
earn
like,
3 points with Chris.
I did
We
like
could
16.
1 point with you.
Yeah, none of it ever mattered. None of it ever added up to this person won because I think at
but
one
Paul
time
won.
one of us was like, "This question's worth 100 points," just to screw with us. But it's just about having fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm surprised I know so much about horror movies, guys.
You did really well, Paul.
You guys, hey, when you guys make a very narrow questions for me, I do well. So thank you.
So, listener, part of the problem with us talking about, like, okay, we're going to do this for pub trivia is, like, then Paul gets, like, super nebbish and is like, I need to watch and, like, research everything. It's like, Paul, don't research everything because some of that stuff might come up in, like, whatever we're talking about. So, when Paul was like, my whole thing is like, when did someone die in the movie? I'm like, is he also looking at how much that movie made? Because IMDb it. It's going to show that.
I guys told you exactly like what website I was using, the and like what I was doing because I'm like, who dies first? And I was going to go through like each movie and then like ask you about 2 different characters and which one died first. But I couldn't find anything that wasn't as fun as what I did. I felt like.
Well,
Where
I
got to
walked
ask
away
about-
from last week when we recorded not knowing what you were doing.
But I know what we're
remember.
doing next week because, guys, next week we're returning to watching anime. But we're not watching a new episode. We're going back to something we've watched before with the second episode. We each pick an episode of an anime we watched previously. Paul, you went with Fire Force, so we'll be watching Fire Force number 2. John, you said Samurai Champloo, episode 2. And I picked Chainsaw Man, episode number 2. So stay tuned next week. You got time. You can watch 6 episodes of an anime in a week, guys. I believe in you. And we'll see you on 613. Bye.
Bye.